Land of power, land of might, exceptional rage, endless fight, patriot bulldozer, leading the way, crushing all foes, making them pay. Flag in hand, fury in eyes, screams of pride, ignoring lies, iron grip, ruthless and cold, American dream, fierce and bold, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart, no retreat, no surrender, bulldozers force, a savage offender, red, white, blue, burning bright, in the chaos he finds delight, blazing trails of destruction left, in the name of the blessed, the theft, freedom's price, a crimson blade, bulldozer, savage of legend made, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart. Blazing trails of destruction left, in the name of the blessed, the theft, freedom's price, a crimson blade, bulldozer, savage of fate, legend made, bow before the storm, unstoppable wave, marching forward, no soul to save, bulldozers wrath, tearing apart, exceptionalism, fire in the heart.
Good evening, everybody. Hope you all are having a magnificent Monday evening. Welcome to the Dozer Den. If you have not yet smashed the like button, go ahead and give it a good smashing. Bump the like button, tap the like button, give it a little tap, tap, tap-a-roo. Caress the like button, lean in real close to it, whisper sweet nothings in its ear, and then pound away because that's what you need to do to it. It is consensual. It asked for it, guys. If you could kindly share this stream out with your loved ones, friends, family, ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, Azizers, and friends. I'm not judging, just keep it consensual between adults and preferably behind closed doors, and we won't have a problem. If you could repost this stream here on Rumble, repost on the X Machine, on pill.net. Red pills and reposts are appreciated. And thank you, Tim Fimmon, for that art. Actually, put that in Discord. on my computer, though, and I don't have the time for that right now. I don't. But I went into Pickaxe and saw your your art there, Tim Finman. Thank you for that. I'll probably put that into my my overlays. It'll be something. But we are streaming to Rumble, BitChute, Pill.net, thedozerden.locals.com, at least for 30 minutes, because I'm not important enough, guys. If I get a little bit more important on thedozerden.locals.com, I'll be able to stream the entire show. But right now, I only get 30 minutes of streaming, but I do have a live chat open there. Cool thing about thedozerden.locals.com, if you pay $5 a month, you will have access to the live chat. You will be able to participate in the comments under things that I post, and you can post things that you find interesting in that community. We can also, with a subscription in Locals, you get all the benefits of a Rumble subscription. What are those? You might wonder. Well, your name lit up in the most beautiful shade of MAGA red. That's right, you'll catch a Rumble rash. It oozes patriotism, and the only treatment is more America. That's right. We love America. We hug the flag. It's great. But yeah, I did like that. What's up, Shackleford, over there on Pill.net? Thank you. Excuse me. But yes, you could do that. You can subscribe here on Rumble if that's what you want to do. That is should be a subscribe button right down there. If you don't have premium yet, you can check that out. Here's the artwork that Tim Finman put together. I like it. It's sweet. I love it. Lick the like button. Roast that repost. Come into the comments. The little squigglies necessary. Are the squigglies necessary? I like it. That's good stuff. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. But guys, if you could comment in the comment section, that is caring. Do appreciate Tim Finman for the repost and the comment already before I even started the stream. What's up, Metal Health 1974, formerly Metal Mouth 2874? Good to see you again. Got yourself a new phone, huh? Freedom Butterfly. She was the bestest, apparently. Very nice. Oh, damn. Tim, yours broke too. That sucks. What's up, Tainolin? Good to see you. You like the song better at 1.5 times speed? I don't know how to speed it up. I should probably figure that out. You know what? I could probably go into Suno and have it look at it and then speed it up. That, or I guess you can like rewatch or pause for a second and then hit the 1.5. I think you can do that to a live stream. I'm not 100% sure. What's up, Bardavello? Good to see you. Something to dig into in another stream. What you got there, Metal Mouth? Guys, if you didn't know, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. Oh, it's an Asmongold clip, huh? Secret psychic weapon used in Venezuela. It's not really that secret. Oh, well, psychic weapon. I hadn't heard about that. I've heard of the directed energy weapon. But guys, I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, 3 to 4 new topics, palate cleansers sprinkled about. Saturday streams, a hangout stream, a decompress stream, a chill stream from all the bullshit of the week. Guys, we might have one official topic, but for the most part, it's a hangout stream, a decompress stream for all you amazing killdozers here in the Dozer Den. And of course, we take music video requests for the Dozer Den DJ Hour, where you can rock out with your cock out, jam out with your clam out. Those are the only two options. If you are intersex, I ask that you please pick a fucking lane. Okay? There's only two. Just pick one. Good. We are on YouTube today as well. And I don't think I missed any other places where we're streaming today. Oh, it lagged behind and I had to catch up, so that's how I discovered it. Ah, fascinating. Well, that's interesting. I could probably figure out if I get into Suno, because I still have I think it still probably has it listed in the history of what I made with it, because I haven't done much with Suno, to be honest with you. I got that glorious intro and outro song, and yes, indeed. I forgot to mention, guys, when you subscribe to Bulldozer74, you get access to all of those amazing emotes. There are a bunch of them. There's the Peach, there's Dribbling Jesus, there's a little dude doing like this. I gotta keep forgetting to do the alien, the happy little alien, because we talk about aliens a lot, guys. I'm only a little bit obsessed. Only a little bit. We talk about some esoteric things sometimes. If you guys missed the morning stream, which we had a morning stream, it seemed like there was a possibility. I did say on Saturday that I was going to probably be doing a morning stream regardless, or a midday stream or a day stream, because I had the day off, because MLK Day, right? Happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day, guys. Huzzah. But yesterday there was an announcement that there was a possibility that you could get showered with lovely crypto bucks from the CEO of Rumble, Chris Pavlovsky. So I figured, hey, you know what? That's even more incentive. I was going to go ahead and do something anyways, and I actually pulled out the Bible. After we covered the version that I got, New American Bible, Catholic Bible, Saint Joseph edition. That was my confirmation name. I got that when I was like 16 or 17, I believe. And we read through that, read through a little bit of the story of Jacob and Esau, Genesis. Chapter 32 specifically is what we were focusing on. We did read a little bit before that in chapter 31, discussing kind of the build up to what happened, and we got into the woods, the weeds a little bit on who exactly Jacob was wrestling. And Genesis 32:24 through 27, I believe, where it talks about him wrestling, an angel or God or pre-incarnate Christ. I think you're probably safe and accurate if you say pre-incarnate Christ and God. If you say that, you're pretty much saying the same thing, Trinity and whatnot. So yeah, very, very fun discussion. I enjoyed digging into it a little bit. We read through some um, articles from a couple religious scholars, theologians. Fun discussion. Before that, we talked about what got me inspired to do it. Yesterday, when I saw the attack on the church, I saw those communist Marxists, those individuals break it, go into that church and disrupt worship. Um, it I felt like I was called. Literally, I felt like it was what right for me to do it, to get on a stream today and read some scripture. And we were talking about when we were discussing the Don Lemon thing and the them doing what they did at the church, interrupting the service and whatnot, making kids cry, thinking it's great. Um, there's a time for righteous rage, and it is biblical. And as long as it is not personal and it is for justice and spiritual justice specifically, and injustice in the name of God, Deus Vult kind of thing, right? God wills it. Then it's acceptable. As long as you don't let it consume you, you don't let the anger consume you. That's where the devil can take a foothold. And so we talked about that a good bit. And then I read through, just picked up the Bible and read through it. And we kind of discussed it a little bit. Read through those passages, talked about, the struggle with the angel is what it's phrased in the book here, in the Bible. And yeah, I think it was a fun discussion. I hope those that tuned in were enjoyed it, learned a little bit, hopefully, or refreshed themselves a little bit. If you didn't catch it live, I think it's worth watching on the replay. So thank you, Shackleford, over there on pill.net for the red pill in the repost. But yeah, it was a different kind of stream, and I enjoyed it. I tried not to cuss very much. I can be a bit profane at times. You guys know that, but I tried to limit that. I only let a couple f-bombs slide. We were playing that jerk who was cussing at the Christians worshiping. He was labeled as a farmer. Like first of all, get a toothbrush, buddy. And Don Lemon, the focus that they're I said this morning. I said, hey, you know what? You guys are going to make him a martyr if you keep focusing on just him. Focus on the organizer and focus on everybody else that was there. If you can identify them, round them up, charge them with the Face Act. And Harmeet Dillon talked about the KKK Act, which is hilarious. Charging a black man with the Klan Act. The irony is so sweet. I am devouring it and enjoying it. He needs to be held accountable. He does need to be held accountable. That was disgusting. He was involved in that. He was involved in the prelude to that nonsense. Try that in a small town. Try that at a small church, because you're going to have men that are most likely going to escort you out, prevent you from coming in when they see what's happening. And we're not going to clear out our church and let you take over our church. You're gonna people in small town churches put their blood, sweat, and tears into their churches. So don't do that. And that literally is illegal. Your First Amendment right to express yourself does not mean that you can interrupt somebody else's First Amendment right. That's not how it works, commies. It's not how it works. I'm known to go full nuclear on a subject. Oh, I rant. There's a reason we have a rant button. There is a reason. There's a reason. There it is. Look at that. The Gurr-meter. Gurr-meter. We also have a Rage-meter. Look at that. There's two. Huh. Never stacked them up on top of each other. Might need to do that at some point. They both have a minute, guys. They have a minute. Because I've been known to go on a rant. My brother aptly classified it as a strong rant muscle in the past. And he's correct. I do. I have that. He knew exactly what he was doing. Yes, he was. Usually my rants and my rage is usually inspired by thought, though. I've usually thought about something quite a bit before I go off. Before I'm digesting. I guess you could maybe look at it as one of the rants. Some of the rants maybe as indigestion from the stuff that I'm like digesting intellectually. I don't know if you could call it that, but yeah, it bugs me the bigger one on top. You don't like that? Yeah. Bardavello, the dozer rants. Yes, yes, indeed. I need to start clipping those. The clipping feature is back on Rumble. Thank God. That's cool. I'll be able to use that. Be able to use that for shorts and stuff. I want them to incorporate some of the clipping stuff, the window and stuff like that, being able to change your window and move it around and stuff. Do that for Canvas, guys. Do that for Canvas. That would be amazing. Like, I would love to be able to move my creator window around if I could, or shrink and decrease the size, whatever that. Say, serve the rant stew, brother man. I do. Don't know if we're gonna be doing that today because honestly, we're gonna be just chatting for a bit. We're gonna be chatting in clips. There's some current event stuff that we're probably gonna talk about a little bit. I've got some stuff saved in my bookmarks for you guys. But yes, yes, indeed. Needs to be done sometimes. It's a pressure release valve. Guys, if you haven't followed the channel yet, follow the channel. I'm not going to lie. Earlier today, it would have been, it could have been, they were talking about raids. Yeah, they were talking about showering people with crypto bucks, which is lovely. And I'm glad for the people that got the crypto donations. That's awesome. That is awesome. I didn't expect anything. I just thought, hey, it's worth a shot. It would be irresponsible of me as a streamer not to stream whenever they were teasing that yesterday. They did talk about raid trains, and I was kind of at least hoping for maybe a raid at 3 hours or so. It didn't happen, but that's okay. Regardless, I'm going to be doing whatever I'm going to be infotaining away, guys. That's the name of the game here in the Dozer Den. Information, entertainment, infotainment. If I can help make a crap sandwich ever so slightly more palatable, well, I feel like I've done something important. And if Rumble tends to, end up going away from favoring my type of content, you know what? I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. As long as you guys are enjoying it, I'm enjoying myself. That's what it's about. So that's right, Tim Finman. You miss 100% of the shots not taken. Yep. And you know what? We rated out to Viva Fry afterwards. Should have picked a smaller creator. Yeah. Probably should have picked a smaller creator. Oh, I do need to shout out the new followers. We did get quite a few new followers today. Thank you, Tantalum, for the repost. Tim Finman for the comment in the repost. We've got ourselves some new followers. I haven't done this in a minute, but I have been neglecting new followers. Shouting out the new followers. We've got Ann Win 0066, More Joy, Hernandez 2787, Wheels the OG, Lone Wolf Fan Club, brand new to Rumble. Welcome, sir. Congrats on your success today. Amazing first stream. Got like 80,000 views, I think. Awesome stuff. And I think if I didn't say thank you to Silvazo Jern and the others for reposting the stream earlier today, I appreciate the heck out of y'all. So yeah, thank you to the new followers. We are inching closer and closer to including the channel, the Dozer Den, which I do have a channel, which I'm going to start streaming from that periodically as well, so that we got a little bit of. I think we have people following the channel that aren't following the user profile, and I don't know how I. I think if I stream from the channel, it also goes to the user profile, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to maybe try it tomorrow. We'll see, but I'm not gonna lie. I did think about just tonight doing some side scroller gaming. I found there's an emulator from that old the Cool Spot video game that I discussed I played the crap out of on Sega Genesis with the little 7-Up character kind of moving across. That's something I think I might start doing every now and then. Just doing you're following both. Thank you, Bartavello. I appreciate you. That might be whenever, there's sometimes, yeah, I do talk about these things and I'm very enmeshed in these types of current events and things like that. But sometimes, you might want to just veg out to a video game. And I'm not trying to chase the video game clout stuff, even though it is kind of painfully obvious that that's what Rumble is focusing on right now. Although apparently they're going to start going to IRL. So, yes, absolutely. Mental Health 1974. I know. I appreciate it. But the cool thing about the IRL stuff, if they're going to start kind of focusing on some IRL streams, I do fishing streams periodically. I do, deconstruction of decks. I do, putting up Christmas lights. I've been thinking about, sorry, there is a hair sticking out of my nose. That's what I'm doing. It is not me picking my nose. I swear, no boogers attached to those fingers. There's literally a hair tickling my mustache hair. When the mustache hairs and the nose hairs intermingle. You guys ever have that happen? Is that just something that happens in your 30s? I don't know. It's annoying. Tickles. But No, I've got a Blackstone grill that my brother left outside for like a year or so. It's rusty, and I'm going to sand it and get it ready to get reseasoned. How am I going to do that, though, is the question. I need to probably get a damn propane tank. That would be smart. Yeah, DIY and fishing hunting streams. I've done those. Yes, they don't get any purchase, any traction, but you know how goes the deer dressing? Oh, deer's all done. That's been done. Um, I got the skulls up there. The European mount for this year's buck, that 8 point up there. I gotta fit. That's something I could do. That's another thing I could do. I could work on that plaque. Um, I have no idea how to do the scorch marks, but I've got the torch, and I need to watch a YouTube video or something on it, or a video of how to do it. But yeah, that's something I could do. I could set up my little tripod and shrink it up and put it on a table and point it at what I'm doing, and yeah, yeah. It's gay sword fight. It's a gay sword fight. Pick or pluck away, bro. No shame. Yes. Um, if I get some decent signal out at Otter Slough, um, might do a walk through the boardwalk with you guys. That would be fun. I've got I've got a selfie stick. I need to get a GoPro. I need to get one of those like little mounts for your chest or something like that. That'd be smart, probably. I thought about getting an attachment for my phone to be able to record like the night sky, decent night video. And there are some attachments you can get to like clip onto your phone, so that you can like record cool stuff. Like I don't know, the aurora borealis that we're supposed to be able to see today. But you enjoyed the driving IRLs. Nice. I've done a couple of those. One from Oklahoma, and then I did the after I got told that I can't freaking fish driving around. That was fun. Drove to a new spot, did some more fishing. Signal was crap, but I might be doing another driving stream next week. I am going out back out to Oklahoma with little bro Dozer. Don't know if the older bro Dozer is going to be able to come or not. He's doing his own thing, I suppose. So he might come, he might not. We'll see. Just keep feathering. Oh, okay. Just keep feathering the torch, moving a couple inches a second. Practice a piece or two will turn you into an ace. Thank you, Tantalum. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've let me go get it real quick. I'll show you guys. I don't know if you guys saw it yet, but show you the plaque. I'll show you, I guess, the skull. If you haven't seen the skull yet, there's still salt in there. Very salty. Very salty. But here's the skull. This is my first attempt at a European mount. I'm pleased. I think I did a decent job. Not bad. Good basket. Solid little buck. 2.5-year-old, maybe 3. Probably 2.5. Closer to 2.5. 8 point behind me is quite a bit bigger, but yeah. I think it's solid. I'm going to interrupt the kitty. This is the black that I'm going to set it on. So it's got an OG bit router bit that I use to kind of make the edge. This is actually something from years ago. I forgot what I was using or what I was doing, but I was making Christmas presents because, we're broke. So we make some presents. Lady Dozer does a lot of crocheting and crafty stuff. But yeah, I figure it's going to look pretty solid. Once we get it on here, it'll look pretty good. Yeah. It's going to look all right. We got the scorch. We're going to have scorch marks on it and stuff. So that'll be kind of cool. That's the thought process anyways. I was hanging out up here on his plaque. Need to get the right. I could just drill a screw in, I suppose, or a screw. Put a screw in there and set it on that. But I kind of want to get an actual official kind of mount. But yeah, I don't think that's too bad for my first attempt at a European mount. But some people are like, oh, you got to put borax on it. You got to, get it looking real pretty. But you want to retop your dining table and make it a bit bigger. And I want a chair and resin coat it. Nice. Char and resin coat it. There you go. That's solid. That's good stuff right there. I love doing that kind of thing. I have a piece that I got all the bark off. It's a chunk of a tree, actually. So when we first moved into this house, I was recovering from shoulder surgery. and so I couldn't do much moving things around. Um, which cat is lying down next to you? That is Domino. That is the girl. She is the kitty co-host that usually hangs out up here. She is chilling. She is rather rotund. But so we just moved in, and was recovering from shoulder surgery, so I couldn't do much. And one of the things that I'm really grateful for is a really awesome father-in-law and brothers and brother-in-law, and they came out. They helped move everything, and I was just the straw boss because I couldn't do anything. I was recovering from shoulder surgery, couldn't do shit, felt like garbage because I lift things, I pick up heavy things, and I move them. I'm good at that, very good at that. But shortly afterwards, we well, little while after, we had a tree that was on the property line between, me and the neighbor, and it was kind of on the downward slant hill, very quite steep downward slant hill, and it was a tree that was kind of rotting for the most part, and we didn't want it to fall on the neighbor's house because, well, it would have been homeowners insurance having to deal with that and a claim and all that, and then it goes up and then all that garbage. So my father-in-law came over one Saturday morning and he had his old F-150 in the neighbor's yard with a strap attached to it, and was pulling on it and sawing at the same time. I think I ended up hopping in and pulling it. He might have ended up just he cut it a little bit and then he pulled it with the strap. But I have not seen Jeff Mack's cat, Klaus. He's a big old boy. Actually, wait, yeah, I saw him the other day. He's a big boy. But my neighbor, luckily I had a good relationship with him. He's one of the renters. I actually kind of miss him. He was solid. He comes out at 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. He's ready to whoop some ass. He's like, can I help you? And I was like, whoa, it's okay. It's my father-in-law. We're just cutting this tree down so it doesn't fall on your house, man. And he goes, he cooled down real quick. He goes, oh man, he said, shit, I'm glad you were out here. I was ready to whoop some ass. He was like, what the hell are you doing in my yard? I said, I completely understand. I would have felt the same way. I tried to knock on your door, but nobody answered, so I figured you guys were asleep. But thankfully, my father-in-law didn't end up having to get in an altercation with that feller. That would have sucked. But he's like, oh, that's awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. He cooled off really quick. So that was nice. But well, we're 30 minutes into the stream, guys, and I haven't gotten to anything. We're just chilling and chatting. Like I said, I mean, that's pretty much, to be honest, we're going to be chilling and chatting for the first part of the stream. That's just kind of what I feel like doing. And then we're going to go ahead. So after we do that, and we have some clips, some entertaining clips, we're going to watch and react to a recent interview between Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock about new information concerning Atlantis. Very intriguing. Very intriguing. It was free fire. Well, I mean, besides the effort, yeah. I got another tree I got to cut down. One of my neighbors has a dang lift that you hook up to a damn tow hitch, and I am tempted to ask them if before they return it, if they would just back it into my yard, pull it front. You could set it on my driveway, and I will pull it myself if I have to. I'm a stout little fucker. I can probably do it. I'll put some shoes on. I'll take the Crocs off and actually put some boots on or something, and I will pull it into my backyard so that I can get those arms down and I can actually get on the little lift. It's got like a cherry picker. It's one that you hook up to your tow hitch. It's got the cherry picker lift in it, and I need that to safely cut this dang tree down that I've been needing to do for years, but I haven't because I suck. And I'm kind of gun shy on getting up on a giant ladder in a tree because the last time I got knocked out of the ladder and almost died. But okay, almost died is a little bit of an exaggeration. I just landed perfect on my right leg and sprained everything on the right side. And it's lucky I'm built like a bowling ball. So there's that. Yes, lots of stuff and things tonight. Stuff and things. Boom lift, yeah. 4 more days until the asshole roommate is finally gone. Hooray. He's been a royal pain in her ass for over a year. Well, hopefully, may his urination burn ferociously for the rest of his life. It's a little bit rough. How tall and big was the tree? I was up about 25 feet. Fall off because the tree limb came back at me. And then luckily I grabbed onto a limb, just instinctually reached out and grabbed on and gorilla slid down this limb, leaves coming down with me as I went, and it righted my angle perfectly to where I landed just exquisitely on my right foot instead of on my neck, because I think I would have landed on my neck/shoulder and that would have probably killed me or paralyzed me. It was about by the time I got down to so I went from 25 feet to probably about 18 to 20 feet. Yeah, these are big old maple trees. The tree itself is taller than that. It's like a 30-foot tree. It's a big one. But what's up, Sertorius? Good to see you. Oh man, you guys think Don Lemon's going to be charged? They say he's going to be. I would like everybody else to be charged as well. That would be reasonable. I think that would be damn reasonable. But oh, it's intimidation. Keith Ellison was saying that it's literally wasn't able to articulate the FACE Act correctly. The FACE Act has abortion, religion, abortion, which honestly, abortion is considered a sacrament to this Church of Satan. So, yeah, maples can get pretty big. I've got 6 maple trees. One of them is dead, and just been sitting there. It's got like it's very thick base, right? Very thick base with like the fingers coming up out of it. So they're all going in different angles. So it's a real bitch to try to cut them. I've cut a couple of them. We're down to 2 out of 5. There used to be 5. It was like a hand coming up out of the earth, I suppose. There were like 5 branches, which they're each the size of a small tree in their own right. One of them fell on its own towards the fence, and it barely nicked the back chain link fence. Barely. Didn't really do any damage. Charges don't mean jack. Needed convictions, and we need a nationwide judge to this probe. Yes. Yeah. But do we have an administration that's actually going to nut up about this? I'm not sure. Well, you know what? Lemon's going to enjoy a lot of the stuff that happens in prison anyways, so he'll be all right. Probably a bit of a vacation for him, to be honest. He thinks he's very, very important too. It's like, oh, I don't know why I became the face, because you were the guy you were the guy recording in front of the preacher saying, "Don't push me." That guy was just keeping distance because you kept getting closer. If anything, he could have throat punched you after he told you to leave and you didn't leave. Once they were told to leave and they didn't leave, that's when the men of the church should have gotten together and just destroyed each and every one of them out of the church, pushing them out of the church. That's what they should have done. Put him in the women's prison. They'll probably find a way. They'll peg him. Bam. Guys, follow me on the X Machine at Bulldozer74__. I get in fights with cultists and commies. We're over 4,000 followers again. Hooray. We'll see how long it takes before I get down to about like 3950 again. I don't know. Hands up, don't loot. Yep. They were in there shouting, hands up, don't shoot, which I'm a few hours south of that, right? The Ferguson stuff. Michael Brown literally asked for it. He was met with the force that was appropriate and was put down like he needed to be. Don't attack a cop. Don't beat an officer. Don't try to snatch his gun out of his holster. That's a good way to die. We're on YouTube as well today. Hi there, YouTube folks. Probably Sam Duty. Thanks for watching over there. Hired an arborist to cut down a few trees around the house. Was really expensive, so kudos to you. Cutting them down looks complicated and death can be dangerous. Yes. One of these, I might be able to throw a damn rope around and tug on it. It's looking like it's that close to falling, because the middle. And I need to do it. My father-in-law said he keeps saying too that he's gonna come out and help, but he's a busy man, very busy man. So I'm not mad at him at all for not being able to get out here and help with that. I need to get out and help clean some of his leaves up. I told him I would, but I haven't been out there yet because it's cold. We have, speaking of masculine man duties, this is peak masculine form here, guys. Peak masculine form. I don't know if he's a Viking, but he has Viking energy, so.
The Vikings on it.
He made it. Good throw.
The Vikings on it.
Nice. Said Gondor calls. I did say duty. It's true. Hey, you know what? You get a little scruffy in the winter. It's all right. That is not AI. That is real. That is real nonsense, okay? Big brass balls. Yes, he almost died. He almost died. It happened once or twice, but he had fire. The fire stayed lit. Okay, that's what was important. The fire stayed lit. Okay, I'm happy for him. So these folks are. I'm jelly. I'm jelly of these individuals. I don't know where they're at. Must be a little bit further up north. Their northern lights are so bright the earth turned green, which green is my favorite color. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, you can Rumble Rant. You can donate through gifted subs. You can shower the chat with your love or spray the chat with your love, whatever verb you want to use. I'm not judging you. Okay. Okay. You can donate through pill.net as well if you want. Yes. My God. I want to see that in person. I really would love to see the greens in person. We get reds down here, reds and purples. Which, again, what's up with the lower 48 getting the northern lights again, guys? This is insane. We're at like something that's supposed to happen once or twice in a lifetime, and in the last 5 years, it's happened like 4 or 5 times. Like, should we be concerned? Is this the magnetic field starting to like dissipate? I don't know, but it's pretty. At least we could have catastrophic consequences from this, but it'll look nice. I want that, but we get the reddish pink. I didn't see any before I came up to the stream today. Maybe there'll be some after the stream. We'll see, I suppose. Oh, green northern lights were visible for the far to the north in 2004 from the Missouri Ozarks. Very nice, Sartorius. I didn't know that. Not down in southeast Missouri, most likely. But there are a couple other ways you can donate to the Dozer Den. There is a Cash App. There is a Venmo. Bam, 2 QR codes for you to choose from. You can pick which one. That goes directly to the Dozer Den household. You don't have to, but if you want to, that's an option. As is the option with the Rumble Rants and the gifted subs. Any stream that we do here in the Dozer Den, if we hit $50 worth of donations, I'll put on a fancy hat. And I'm going to get me some sunglasses for if we hit double that goal. So if we hit like 100 on a stream, then I'll put on some cool glasses. Yes. What's up, Lore Blades? Good to see you again. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. Guys, if you have not yet smashed that like button, give it a good smashing. It's what everybody wants to do, okay? 12 likes, not too bad. Don't forget to hit that repost button as well. When you repost on Rumble, everybody that follows your channel is going to be able to see your repost, and it goes into a repost tab on Rumble. Helps increase the viewership. From what I understand, exposure increases when that happens, so people have a chance to check those reposts. And yeah, let's help bring more killdozers here into the Dozer Den. Let's go to more clips, guys. We're chilling, we're chatting, we're just having some clips because I felt like it. Oh, here's something. The FACE Act was used against these individuals for just pro-life Christians praying at an abortion clinic. They were prosecuted under the Biden administration for doing this. What's up, Drill? They were prosecuted for this, guys. They didn't block anybody. Yeah, they were trying. But yeah, they were prosecuted. They jailed him for praying in an abortion clinic. You stand out and pray too loud, that's apparently not allowed. Here's a kid just being happy about her car. This is pretty cool. Guys, my first car was a 1993 Mitsubishi Eclipse. I loved that green car. It smoked like a chimney, but it was nice. See, Drill saying solar winds being created by coronal hole leaking cooler plasma. Cooler plasma. I'm thinking of Cooler from Dragon Ball Z. He's a bit more hardcore than Frieza, to be honest. Let's check this out. So, her dad surprised her with a Toyota Corolla, the ultimate reliable first car. It wasn't a G-Wagon wrapped in satin pink. It was a practical gift from a father who wants his daughter safe. And her reaction, pure, unfiltered joy. She didn't see a basic car. She saw her dad's love and her new freedom. That is the way it should be. Man, my oldest kid is 10. 6 more years, guys. Damn.
I have a car! Can we even go through this door?
Huh?
What do you mean go? Oh, you some rock! What are you talking about? Wait, is this why you guys left? Yes! Where's the keys? Wait, do I have to put it in like that? What?
No, it has a button.
Oh, it does?
She's so excited. That was my 10-year-old popping into the room for a minute, by the way. I told them they could sleep over tonight. I told them they could sleep over, but they needed to go to bed. Apparently it's hot downstairs. I don't know. Look at how happy she is. This is a good kid. This is a grateful kid. This is what the response should be. I know you've all probably seen some of those videos where kids get their first car and it's like a basic like Honda Civic or Accord. I'd rather have an Accord. I'd take a Civic if it was my first car, but I'd rather have an Accord. Or a Toyota Corolla. It's pretty much the same car. Yeah, there's been a lot of those videos. The kids are like, what the heck is this? This isn't what I wanted. Like, oh, this is a crappy little junker. This kid is having the right response.
Wait, can I start it just to see?
She wants to go. He's so happy.
Why is it like upside down?
That's so cool. I can't wait till the day I get to do something like that. Oh, yeah. Basically the same car you had, Bill, was a 96 Dodge Avenger, Mitsubishi with a Dodge emblem. Huh. Nice. Mine had like a, what was it, 200 and something thousand miles on it, and it had not been taken care of, really. The maintenance was not great. See, the current car I have, a 2016, I think, yeah, 2016 Chevy Cruze, it's got 227,000 miles on it, but I've kept up with the maintenance. It was decent maintenance beforehand. I need to change the timing belt, but that's $500 that I don't have right now. So, not doing that. And I also would have to schedule that. And that's a son of a gun. Kids don't deserve new cars. Ride your 10-speed until you're 24. Sartorius shows no mercy. Kitty co-host has popped up to say hello to the stream. Hello there, Domino. She's chilling. When I don't give her love, so she will tell me. It's okay. You're a good girl. You're a good girl. I'm not a cat person, I swear. I swear I'm not. They just happen to be here. She'll give me a kitty hug at some point. Oh, now she's licking me. The sandpaper tongue. Sandpaper tongue. Same story, man. 240,000 miles and $900. Literally, mine was a $900. Oh, $950. Mine was $950. Had like 205 or 206,000 miles, maybe more than that. It might have been 218. I was 15 when I got it. But I had worked my ass off at my first job at an orchard, saved up over $1,000, and this was $950. And I had been, when my mom was driving us around, I was seeing it on the side of the road, and I bought it. I was so proud of myself, and I did not. We ended up trading it in when I got my license because I'd been driving it around the county roads. We ended up having to do I forgot what it's called, but they bypassed the catalytic converter. They like straight shot it, I think is what it's called. And it sounded like a race car at 20 miles an hour. It became very loud after that muffler shop in Sykeston, Missouri worked on it. Like 15 miles an hour. Like, wah! So loud. It was so loud. But yeah. That's what I felt like Sunday waking up at 11 o'clock, guys. Yeah, straight pipe. Nice. This right here is what I felt like waking up at 11 a.m. yesterday. After staying up late for the show and just being up late in general because I don't know when to go to sleep. And Harry Toe, your Subaru has 160K. That's not bad. That's just broke in right there. This was me. Sunday, waking up at 11:30. What's up, General Samuel Fields over there on Pill.net? Thank you. The bear awakens from his slumber. unawares as to the changes in the world, shaking off the dirt and extra fur. Needs some work, but runs good. There you go. Is this real? Is it AI? I don't know what to believe anymore, guys. Those ears make me think it might be AI. Maybe not. I don't know. But that was me the other day. Good to see you guys over there on Build. Let's see. We'll do there. Little Deadpool hello for you over there. Camry had $250,000 on it before. Couldn't keep up with the rest anymore. Damn. That ain't bad. It's me waking up every work day. Nice. The bear did look cranky. I mean, it's from hibernation. 7 months? Bears hibernate for 7 months? That doesn't sound right. Is that right? I don't know. Really don't. You guys want to see some Asian grandparents meeting their grandbaby for the first time? Boom. Baby's good at sitting. That's so sweet. They were so happy. Wonder if that baby was happy. That baby was probably like, holy crap, why are these random people in the house? Why are they yelling at me? That poor koala got burned? Possibly. You guys want to see some of the people that they're sending out to these ICE protests, guys? This is, in my opinion, the level of zest that the ICE agents are having to deal with, and God be with them. God be with them with this level of zestiness.
Power baby. Up next, we have an open sport martial arts karate kata for performance. Toronto International Tournament of Martial Arts Champions here at the Paramount Fine
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Faggot.
Food Center, a NASCAR World Tour rated event, point fighter approved.
What's up, Salvazo Jern?
Excellent stand.
I did not see you pop in the chat earlier. Hello. Thanks for joining, Salvazo, and thanks earlier. I did mention you earlier. I mentioned a thank you for reposting today's earlier stream.
Technique, power, focus.
So much power. So much focus. So much faggotry.
Here in the men's black belt.
What's he doing?
18 plus.
What kata is that? I did karate for a minute. I don't remember. I mean, I didn't get up to that level, so maybe I'm just a pleb. I don't know. Sass foo limp wrist.
Traditional karate category.
What?
Category. Traditional karate category. The category. The category. The category. The category. The category.
He's really trying. I'm a jerk. He's really trying.
Divisions
Power
for all
bottom
styles for forms and weapons are available at the Toronto International Tournament of Martial Arts Champions, as well as point fighting, team fighting, and team form divisions. One of the biggest events in the world. Excellent flow.
Oh, it's a spirit animal. Yes. And a style.
Going into the final sequence of the form. Good balance. Excellent performance. Good job. Power baby.
Pretty. That's who ICE has to deal with. They're sending their best, guys. They're sending their best. ICE should just go ahead and pack it up. ICE should pack it up. If you've got that coming your way, you should definitely move. All right. I don't know. You don't know the power of karate. I don't know if that was karate. No, that was something. That was something. I don't know, guys. I don't know. We had a quick clip here. Speaking of the ICE stuff, speaking of the immigration stuff, quick clip from Jubilee. This lady drives some points home, and I like her.
Lost a House seat because the number of bodies, not citizens, bodies in California went down.
The current ICE raids violate American values and constitutional rights.
The borders should be strengthened. I think we can all agree on that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But what do you do with the people that are here that aren't criminals?
Just want to take a bird's eye view of all of this. It has to do with the number of representatives in the House that are allotted to each state. Why did Nancy Pelosi want to give free houses to undocumented immigrants? Why? Because of apportionment. California had the most U-Haul rentals of people leaving California. So in order to counteract that and get their House seat back, they're incentivizing illegal immigration. Please try to take the emotion out of it for 1 millisecond. I know that it's hard, but it really has to do with the number of bodies, the number of House seats, and power. Because I guarantee you, if apportionment went back to just counting U.S. citizens, the Democrats wouldn't give two shits about illegal immigrants. Yeah. And I want to say one more thing too. My family, I was born in New York, in 1979, and we went back to Iran and the revolution started, and they wouldn't let Jews leave. My father was threatened with his life.
She's driving the point home here.
He said he was going on a medical conference, flew to Vienna, left the passports of me, my sister, and my mother in the government's hands so that they knew we weren't escaping. My mother hired smugglers. We went to the bazaar one day. They put us in the back of a covered truck. We were in fetal position with strangers. Burlap sacks and corn were put on top of us, and we were taken to the border of Pakistan, where we got into a pickup truck. That night in the desert, border police caught us and started shooting at us. We lived in Pakistan for 3 months waiting for visas to reunite with my father. We stayed in Vienna for 3 more months to get legal documents to come to this amazing country legally. It's the right way to do it. We can't not know who is here. They just found a Hamas, somebody who participated in the October 7th attacks. They caught him here in the US. Why? Because when Biden administration let all these people in without checking who they are, they let in a Hamas terrorist who participated in October 7th.
Yep. That's where we're at. Bunch of nonsense. Bunch of damn nonsense. Apparently, I'm not even playing that. We're gonna have a chill thing here, little palate cleanser. Even though it's been mostly palate cleansers tonight, because we're chilling, we're chatting, we're having a good time, we're hanging out. That's what I felt like doing. And then we're gonna watch and react to the Randall Carlson and Graham Hancock discussion about the new Atlantis stuff. Guys, YouTuber Jesse James West held a competition to see who's stronger between tall, strong bodybuilder women and strong dwarf men. Spoiler alert: the little guys easily crushed them. Women, they were very egotistic, serious, and competitive, while the men were just having fun. Why is gender equality forced when differences in ability is pretty clear? It's a good question. These are some big ladies, some large and in charge individuals. I'm here for it. I'm here for it, guys. Let's see how the dwarves. Let's see how they do. Oh, you didn't want to hide her face. She got a pretty face. These are some Amazonian style females, in my opinion. They are very strong-willed, and pretty strong in general. But they can't compete even with the little guys because they're males, and there's a difference between males and females. Regardless of how you feel, there is a difference, especially when it comes to strength. And I will say though, some of these things, the little guys do have a little bit easier when you're moving it only a couple inches. I mean, that's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. Where did there it is. Let's go ahead and watch it. See how it goes.
These are female giants.
Giants, you say?
That's a huge bitch.
Giants. And they are the world's strongest dwarves. And they'll be competing in strength competitions, all to find out who is stronger.
You're going down.
No, you're going down.
Okay. Easy.
They'd have to go up on them.
585 pounds on the bar.
Am I clear? Yep. Good job, Zoe. One more. Two. Come on, big.
I'm not saying it's easy for the little guy to do that, but it is different. It is different than even a normal short guy like me. Okay? It's different. I got your Amazon weak spot. Nice. Chill Chat's favorite. Aliens? Well, I might have some alien talk. We're going to be talking about Atlantis. That's what we're going to be talking about. Oh, I wouldn't want to piss one of those women off. Or, I mean, you could, and, they could chase you down and just attack you. Who would want that? Death by Snoo Snoo.
Dog. One, go. Come on. Yo, frick. Oh!
Yeet.
Oh! No way. No way. Come on.
315. Easy.
Next one.
You got this. Big one. You got this. Come on, girl.
Yo, Lorenzo's already at 4 plates right now. I think Brittany's stuck at 3.
Easy, good. Pull. No. Nope. Hey, let's go. Move over.
Yeah, that big black girl might be able to do it. She's got more of the power. Well, she's bodybuilder, but she looks like she might be a little bit tougher. Death by Snoo Snoo. Minute 405.
Got it on his own. Nice. Emily decided to help Britt with her 315 deadlift.
That don't count.
Emily and Brittany are going. I did not tell them they couldn't do this.
Oh, come on. Come on. What do you mean you didn't tell them they couldn't?
We're going. Go.
Yep.
Oh. Go. Winners.
That one just did a little bitty cartwheel. It looked like a somersault. Well, there you go. Giants versus midget men. Guys, the midget men. Hey, we have 2 people watching over there on YouTube. Cool. Hi there. I don't pay attention to the YouTube live chat. I probably should. Be good at. Well, I mean, it should pop up here in Rumble. It's not. It does most of the time, I think. Can you send pictures here? You can in the Discord, or on X. You can mention me on X. So the Discord link is in the chat. You can join that Discord and you can post pictures in the general or wherever. There's a bunch of different categories in the Discord. Let's pull it up really quick. Actually, let's check. And Hangton Alien Surfer had some things, some audio stuff. Cool. But let me show you guys what we got going on here. Hey, you know what? I could probably pass if I get down on my knees. Maybe do like Dorf. Wasn't it Dorf? Was that a Canadian guy who did the? It was Dorf, wasn't it? I think it was. But there's a Discord. We've got like general memes, news, self promotion, music, show announcements, guns, pets, general, anime, sci-fi, outdoors, documentaries, gun stuff, movies. There's a bunch of different things, a bunch of different sections for people to access. If you want. You can also do the dozernin.locals.com, but if you have to, if you want to participate in the live chat or post things there, you do have to pay $5 a month. But if you do that, you get access to that live chat and all the benefits of a Rumble subscription. So those are all pretty cool. You can shower the chat with your love if you like, with gifted subs, that red present box, or donations. Don't have to, but it's cool if you want to. Let's get into a little bit more here. Speaking of giants, guys, there was an elephant that apparently is a killer. It has killed 22 people in the last 10 days. Dumbo's Revenge. May you get an invite to said Discord. The link's in the description. I can put it in the, excuse me. Put that, copy. Bam, paste. Bam. Drench the chat with your love. There's the Discord invite if you want it. So we were talking about the giant ladies. Well, here's a giant elephant that is killing people. Someone said, "Wow, I think I could outrun an elephant." No, you couldn't. They're very fast, way faster than we are. This one's killed 22 people in 10 days. Dumbo's revenge. Yeet. Yeet. Damn. You got fucked up. Captain Insano shows no mercy. Ooh, Tantalum, thanks for the gifted sub, man. Tantalum has showered the chat with his love or sprayed the chat with his love, whatever verb you want to use. I'm not going to judge you, okay? I'm not. What's up, Mr. Joe Man over there on pill.net? Harry Toe with a slap of that peach. Every now and then you got to slap that peach. And look at that. Metal Health 1974 gifted that sub. Will now have access to all those amazing emotes lit up in that beautiful, beautiful shade of MAGA red. The rumble rash doth spread here in the Dozer Den. Very, very nice. That puts us $45 away from Fancy Hat Goal, guys. Second live stream of the day. Should we count the $5 that we had earlier as well and say that we're $40 away? Maybe. I don't know. What's up, Entropy? Good to see you. You're for Team Pachyderm. Get those Pajeets. They probably beat the hell out of it. Just saying. It might be deserved. It might be deserved. But I do appreciate that gifted sub. That does help this channel grow. And when you gift subs, more of that goes to the creator. Appreciate the heck out of that. Thanks for showering the chat.
Giggity, giggity.
Indeed. Indeed. Mental health with a slap of that peach. Got that super flu last week. That's dang. I'm sorry. That sucks, Mr. Joe Man. I'm glad you're feeling better, or at least I hope you are. Why haven't they put the elephant down yet? Because they can't. It's a vicious murderer. It's a beast. It sees the guy with the gun and it goes right after him. Elephants are holy, aren't they? I don't know about that in that area. What's up, Nero? Good to see you, bud. Mod King in the chat. Make sure you hit that follow, smash the thumbs up, and repost, peeps. Bacon thumb. Bacon thumb. Bacon thumb. Let's see. I think I had one more thing I wanted to show you guys. Maybe. Nope. Well, this is just kind of sad. But we're going to look at it before we get into the Atlantis talk. Guys, the Atlanteans could have been aliens. Who knows? Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson usually have some really cool conversations. Joe Rogan was not involved today, I don't think. But drone video shows a massive 100-plus vehicle pileup in Michigan. Just don't drive. Just don't drive. I wouldn't be driving in that. People probably died. God be with them. God be with them. I hate to see stuff like this. And when semis get to piling up, it is just, whew. Gosh darn. I just would not be on there. I told Lady Dozer this Saturday and Sunday we're supposed to be in the teens with a bunch of snow possible. And I just told her, I was like, Sunday, if there's snow, if there's ice, you're not going to work. Your life ain't worth a damn. Yeah. It's not worth your life. That's what I meant to say. It's not worth your life. I'll absolutely put my foot down as the husband in that instance. They ain't gonna fire her. She's been working for him for a while. They're good people. They're decent folks. She's got a good boss. Looks around another here. Michigan drivers drive way too aggressively. Yeah. Interesting. The Atlantic Ocean is named after the Atlas Mountains in present-day Morocco. Fascinating. You found the Bajeet? No. The elephant found him. FedEx not... Oh, 2 FedEx trucks not going to be on time. They're not going to get it to him. Nope. You love snow plowing? Plowing? I'm assuming you meant snow plowing. Damn sideways keyboard. Nether is in Arkansas right now. Huh. Oh, Nether Knight? Nice. Yeah, that's right. He's trucking, isn't he? I forgot that. Dang, your body still hurts? Yeah, that flu will kick the hell out of you. Prayers for recovery, man. Well, that sucked. You guys ready? You ready for the Atlantis talk? We're going to do a little bit of a watch and react. I don't know if we're going to watch the whole thing today. I don't know who the Beckett Fusick is, a.k.a. Titan. We have Randall Carlson, Graham Hancock. There were some interesting... there's an interesting clip from this that made me want to watch. It was the... we'll tease it. We'll tease it with this here. And then we'll watch the whole thing. This piqued my interest. So I'm like, okay, I have to watch this now. This is right up my alley.
I think actually that some of the mysteries in our past that remain to be exposed do concern secret societies and do concern a behind the scenes organization that is somehow involved in making civilizations. I won't go too far into that, but there are so many traditions, for example, from ancient Sumer, which speak of this, which speak of the role of these particular advisors who seem to be part of a esoteric or secretive group, which is there to guide and advise societies over very, very long periods of time. And the academic disbelief that such ideas could be retained for thousands of years is, in my view, nonsense. Passed on within a highly structured oral tradition, the ideas can survive potentially forever.
Potentially, yes, and it brings us to a question that I've intrigued me for a long time, which is that given catastrophes, one of the details of myths over and over again is that there was some group, some individuals that had foreknowledge.
Yeah.
Now, where did that foreknowledge come? I mean, we can kick it upstairs and say it was some kind of divine revelation, but that doesn't really explain anything.
Lost ancient science.
Right. Somebody had foreknowledge. They were able to prepare, again, referring to like the Masonic craft. There's a legend of Enoch knowing that the flood was going to come. And so he took steps to preserve the ancient science and stories by.
And of course, it's the same story with Atrahasis in Mesopotamia.
Yes.
Warned by the god Ea or Enki of the coming of the flood, takes steps, makes preparations, and even buries tablets with knowledge upon them in the city of Sippar.
Yes, and
to be recovered later by mankind after the disaster.
Well, and then like Plato says right there in Timaeus, he says, well, those who survive.
Was that a Douay Rheims Bible? No, that is it's just a I don't think it is. Medium-sized edition, New American Bible, Catholic Book Publishing, St. Joseph edition, illustrated. Yeah. I don't think it's that. I never heard that before, though. So I don't know. You were watching it while eating lunch. Well, I am glad I provided some entertainment for you while you were eating lunch. Hope it was a good lunch.
5 are going to typically be, who essentially survive by the luck of the draw, are going to be wholly preoccupied with continuing to survive in the aftermath, in the desolation of in the aftermath of a flood or a catastrophe. Whereas those who took steps to prepare are going to be the ones who are preserving the knowledge to pass it on. And that to me does not sound so exotic or esoteric or ridiculous that. I mean, even today we have prepper movements, people who are
sure. It sounds perfectly reasonable. When it comes down to something that threatens the existence of the entire human race, we are an innovative and inventive species, and we would find a way around it. We'd find a way to keep the seed of knowledge going, to keep it coming through the catastrophe to the the times that followed. And that's what I think we're living in. We're living in the times that followed. And that's what the ancient Sumerians also believed, that we're living in the post-Diluvian era. And this is ultimately the same story that Plato is telling us in the Atlantis tradition as well. I think.
So I don't know how, like, I'm all for the idea that we've got, saying that they survived the flood. That would be dramatic. That would be essentially that they found a way. I mean, hell, you look at the Bible, and there are talks of people living for 600 years, thousands of years. Now, our time frames are probably a little bit skewed from how we kind of perceive time and how they perceive time, but. Yeah, interesting stuff. I thought it was kind of interesting. That got me. That was the teaser that got me thinking about Atlantis. And apparently, this discussion between Randall Carlson, Graham Hancock, and Beckett Fusick was about Atlantis location, new evidence. So, without further ado, let's get into it. I will be stopping and providing my reaction to what they're saying as we go along. Graham Hancock does enjoy mushrooms, from what I understand, psychedelics. So he could have a little bit of an interesting perspective here. I'm not saying that it necessarily means that he's not accurate, but it could skew it. I heard you weren't today. Lady Dozer is not happy that I'm streaming tonight. Thought she was gonna. The new second Catholic edition is good too. Very nice. I might have to check into that. The Dewey is it Dewey? Dewey Reams, still the most accurate translation from the Greek and Latin. I like that. Speaking of Fae, I saw a bubble when I was deer hunting. Out of nowhere, bubble popped up and like right in front of me in my deer stand. Not sure where that bubble came from. Never seen a bubble in the woods, and I've spent a lot of time in the woods, and I've never seen a random little bubble floating through the woods. Tried to touch it, and it disappeared. Didn't pop. I don't know what it was. I really don't. Atlantis, isn't that in Georgia? With a slap of that peach. Not that Atlantis. Not that one. That's Atlanta. I was born around Atlanta.
I'll give a quick introduction to you guys. Graham came to Sedona in 2015, this exact weekend, 10 years ago. So the first time that Graham and I did something together was exactly 10 years ago this weekend. And I'm so grateful for Graham. Few voices have reshaped the global conversation on our past more profoundly.
So you asked because there was an eye of providence equated to the Lord. To Lord. I think is it an eye of providence or an eye of horse? I don't know. I got this. It kind of. I was confused. I didn't really know what it was. But I hadn't really paid attention to that. But I was kind of like, what is this? So is that eye of providence, not eye of horse, or is it interchangeable? I don't know. But yeah.
Then our next guest. He's a best-selling author, journalist, and explorer whose groundbreaking work from Fingerprints of the Gods to Ancient Apocalypse has ignited worldwide debate about lost civilizations and humanity's forgotten chapters. And because of Graham and coming here these 10 years
it's interchangeable.
Ago, it ignited
nice.
This passion for me to do these events because I could see that Graham was bringing important information to our ancient past, and somehow there are forces that don't want that to come out, and Graham has been at the forefront.
I bet you have seen some interesting stuff in the jungles. There is a whole lot of stuff that we don't know about in the jungles. You're Savazzo, are you down you live where exactly, like, I don't want you to dox yourself, but are you where are you at geographically? I have an idea. I think I remember you saying something, but I might have had a few drinks in me, so I kind of forgot. The Eye of Providence has multiple roots and interpretations. Fair enough. That's as is the case with symbology, like the swastika, the number 13. It's about the energy you put into it. And the swastika was inverted with the Nazis, so there was the peaceful swastika for the Hindu religions and stuff. But yeah, the Antichrist is supposed to be a one-eyed leader. Fuck, is it Dan Crenshaw? Is Dan Crenshaw the Antichrist? Damn eye patch McCain.
Taking the hits from these forces. So in a way, as Graham says, he stands on the shoulders of other greats. We standing on the shoulders of Graham and Randall and the likes of them. Our next speaker with Graham is master of sacred geometry, geology, and catastrophism. A researcher whose insights into Earth's ancient past are redefining our understanding of cyclical cataclysms and the rise and fall of civilization.
Must speed this
An
up.
educator, an architect, a founder of the Cosmic Graphic Project. Please welcome both Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. The two of us now.
It's come down to just the two of us.
And hello to the audience there. I'm so sorry that I can't be there in person at the moment, but I'm certainly there in spirit.
Before we go forward, let's clear up one thing. It's catastrophism.
Yeah.
Trying to help Robert out here.
Catastrophism. Catastrophism.
Yeah, a word that should be better known, because we've been laboring under the uniformitarian spell for far too long, which has excluded from analysis of the history and prehistory of humanity the role of catastrophes, and they need urgently to be re-included. And I suppose this brings.
I mean, the Masons can have local chapters, I guess, can do some good things. I have friends that are in the low-level Masons, and they don't. I mean, hell, you look at the Knights of Columbus, and that's some interesting stuff too. Secret societies are kind of interesting. They're not so secret anymore, but I think if they're going to the extra meetings, there might be a bit of concern. But as long as they're doing some of the good stuff with the Masons, I don't know. I'm conflicted. I don't know enough really to be that spun up about it one way or the other. I just know the high level Masons have some influence on a really weird. I don't know.
Brings us to our first topic, which is you
True.
just
Carpenter,
come back,
not a
if I
Mason.
understand correctly,
True.
from a trip to the Azores. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Azores stand right there on the mid-Atlantic ridge, yeah?
Exactly, Graham.
There's got to be a catastrophic story underlying this. So please tell me all about your trip and all about the Azores. Tell us all about it and why you were there and why you feel the Azores matter.
I guess I could say that they matter because after a detailed reading of multiple translations of Plato's two dialogues, the relevant dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, and having some knowledge of the geology, particularly marine geology, and the geography that Plato very explicitly describes, it looks to me like of all the possible candidates that have been proposed for the locus of the Atlantean civilization, the one that seems to fit the details, Plato's very precise details and specific descriptions the most, in my mind, is the area of the Azores, which are 9 islands almost in the mid-Atlantic, sitting astride the mid-Atlantic ridge at a what's called a triple plate junction.
Huh. So they're saying it's probably around here where the North American plate, the European plate, and the African or Nubian plate is. Interesting. Ooh, Hamburglar Helper says Jesus was a Mason, a cornerstone.
Where you have actually 3 of the tectonic plates meeting. On the west, you have the North American plate. On the northeast, you have the Eurasian plate. And on the southeast, you have the African,
Message
now called
over,
the
man.
Nubian plate. And it's a very volatile region, but
What's up, Sangland?
It also has a lot of the earmarks of having undergone catastrophic subsidence in the very recent geological past.
Right.
And for that reason, after combing through Plato's writings repeatedly and putting together the pieces, trying to connect the dots, it seems to me that is the prime location for what Plato is describing. And
just to jump in for a second, at a very sort of straightforward, simplistic level, tell us where Plato placed Atlantis in his mind's eye in the Timaeus and Critias. Where does he put Atlantis?
This power came forth from the Atlantic Ocean. He describes it being outside, west of the Pillars of Hercules. Not south, not...
I did forget, we're on YouTube tonight, so it's probably going to copyright strike me for this, but I will appeal it, and I should win, because this is fair use commentary. I'm going to respond to their content and talk about what they're talking about. That's not against the terms of service for YouTube and not against copyright.
Not north, not east, but west.
Yeah.
And, there was one of the things I've pointed out is that in the 60s and the 70s, it was declared by the geological establishment that that any possibility of Atlantis being in the mid-Atlantic region was completely impossible because of what we knew about plate tectonics and continental drift and so on. And yet, when you actually go back through the research that was as early as the 1940s, you find out that there is an abundance of evidence that is consistent with Plato's description and consistent with the idea that there was a massive subsidence in that exact region. And now I was interested in there because I fantasized about the Azores being part of what is called the Azores or Azores microcontinent, which shows up very clearly on bathymetric charts, on digital elevation models of the Atlantic Ocean. We can pull up some visuals here in a bit if you'd like to look at that. And its approximate size fits very closely to Plato's description. The topography fits very close to Plato's description. And the location fits. Some of the quotations, and I know you've read Plato, probably not recently, but...
So that's apparently what Atlantis was shaped like, according to them. Never actually seen that. It's interesting.
His description of geography is very consistent. You know, beyond the west of the Pillars of Heracles or Hercules, you encounter islands, and then beyond those is the island complex of Atlantis, and then beyond that, as he describes it, is the true continent,
which we have to read as the Americas.
Exactly. I mean, and if you do that, if you read that as the Americas, then his whole geography becomes totally consistent. Yeah. And the 9 islands of the Azores have their roots in the microcontinent, as it's called. And there's essentially mountains, just very much like the Hawaiian Islands are mountains, whose peaks are above sea level. Likewise with the 9 islands of the Azores. And I only visited 4 of them. And essentially what I was looking for was anything in terms of consistency or inconsistency with Plato's account. And what I found nothing to be inconsistent with that possibility. We had a professional geologist traveling with us, and he admitted, yes, there is evidence here that would be more consistent with continental bedrock than oceanic bedrock. Which I found very interesting and supportive. But it was mostly just to take in the geology, take in the natural conditions of these islands, and just get a sense of my own direct experience. And what I found, I'll say, like, for example, São Miguel, first island we visited, was basically paradise, you know. But then you look at the other islands, and there's definitely evidence that's consistent with catastrophic episodes in the recent geological past.
The kind of catastrophic episodes that you're hinting at here, if I'm correct, the well-known 400-foot, 120-meter sea level rise that followed the end of the Ice Age is not enough to expose the Azores as an above-water massive landmass.
No, it is not. It would certainly increase the size of the islands.
Yeah.
But it would not give you a landmass almost on the scale of, let's say, Iceland.
Right. So another factor is involved.
Another factor is involved, and that factor is what we call isostasy.
Thanks for hanging out, Metal Health. Rest well, good sir.
Crusts. Yeah. And there's been extensive research done on that, which, in my mind, bears directly on...
So that's the thing. Are we even sure Atlantis was real? I mean, it's mentioned extensively by Plato, so based on what Plato says, sure. There is a bit of speculation here. But they're kind of laying out the case here for what they think. It's food for thought. We can chew on it.
The issue of Atlantis, but it's like never the twain shall meet because of the, I guess I would say the political factors here that, you can't even say the word. If you say the A word, you're immediately consigned to the pseudoscientific fringe.
Yeah, it's an astonishing achievement of wicked propaganda that one of the most interesting topics that has been passed down to us by the ancients is being dismissed with such sneering disregard by what our friend John Anthony West used to call the quackademics.
Exactly.
Was a caveman.
Now, I've got to, admit that there have been some pretty wild assertions that sort of accreted onto Plato's very specific accounts. And one of the things I like to point out is that I kind of look at there's 2 dimensions to what Plato describes. One, the geology and the geography, which is primarily represented in Timaeus. Then he discusses the the city, the ringed city, the infrastructure, which is primarily descriptive in Critias. Now,
so Vassal Jern, did that Discord invite work for you? I hope it did. I think I reposted pasted a new one into the description.
You can accept the geological and geographic explanation without necessarily accepting this vast ringed infrastructure, right? Now, the argument is always between, the academics will say, well, he just meant it as an expression, a metaphor for his political ideals of his, his perfect civilization, his perfect society. And it was nothing more than a metaphor. Then you may have another school of thought goes a little further than that and says, well, there might have been some historic reality behind it that he drew from. The prime contender, as you well know, would be the destruction of, say, Crete because of the eruption of Terra,
Good deal,
which happened
Sojourn.
about 900 years prior to Plato's time.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you have the academic community willing to accept any kind of historical veracity at all to Plato's accounts, that seems to be the prime contender, although it doesn't fit the narrative at all. And including
they want it to be recent.
Yes.
They don't want it to be old, even though Plato was very clear that it was old, and Solon's source in the site in the Delta was very clear. There's somehow this. It's very strange. It's a psychological problem with quackademia. Is this horror of the old?
Quackademia. I like that.
Of the ancients. A desperate desire to do everything possible to keep things as young as possible until the very last moment when the evidence becomes overwhelming that they must absolutely concede that actually things have got a lot older. And
if you look at the thumbnail, it was actually a picture of him, Randall Carlson and Joe Rogan kind of like embracing each other, doing the bro hugs, and I had Grok turn it into a Graham and Randall hanging out at Atlantis as its volcanoes are erupting and it's sinking into the sea. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Göbekli Tepe.
And it says on there, on his shirt, it says, things just keep getting older.
Of course, it was one of the big turning stones in that area. But this desperate effort to reduce Atlantis to a Minoan or a Mycenaean event that fits into an established timeline that the quackademics defend tooth and nail, smearing others who offer alternative points of view. It's just a real problem. It's a real problem in archaeology. It needs a more open-minded approach. But before I go further down that track, tell us a little bit more about isostasy, because that is really important. The way I view isostasy is a kind of seesaw with weight on.
Really quick, thanks to Neurodivergent1, Salvazo Jern, and Bartavello as well for the reposts. Appreciate the heck out of you guys, and I will be interacting with those after the stream. Might be tomorrow, might be later tonight, who knows?
One end of the seesaw pushing the other end up, and then when the weight comes off the other end, it has the opposite effect. Tell us how the ego fit into that picture.
Okay, so let's go back to 1948, the first traverse over the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. And what we had there was a research vessel, interestingly called the Atlantis. But it was,
of course,
it was organized by Maurice Ewing, who was one of the founding fathers of marine geology and oceanography. And this is what he said, and I've got this in my presentations and in the book that I'm writing about this. I quote this: all hands were tense as the word spread through the little research vessel Atlantis, for it meant we had reached our goal. A mile or so beneath our keels stretched the gloom-shrouded peaks, valleys, and ridges of the longest mountain system on Earth, the mysterious Mid-Atlantic Ridge, which we had come to explore. And then, of course, he issues the caveat: though our ship was named Atlantis, we had no illusions of solving that age-old mystery.
Interesting.
But then what he gets into is they traverse the ridge, and they took up some cores and dredge samples. And what they found was very surprising. For example, they pulled up a core that contained sand, as you would find at a beach. Yet this is over a mile below the surface of the ocean.
Right.
And he goes on, he describes here, the sand contains the remains of bottom-dwelling creatures living today in present oceans, but confined to much shallower and colder water. What they're getting into is they're finding this evidence over and over again of things that look like they're much deeper than they're supposed to be. Like, here's some of the things we found in the second cruise, which was a year later, 1949, create new scientific puzzles. One was the discovery of prehistoric beach sand in 2 core samples of the bottom, brought up in one case from a depth of 2, and in the other nearly 3.5 miles.
Wow.
Far from any place where beaches exist today. So this is already, being found anomalous evidence in the 1940s.
Yeah.
And he goes on to say, and this is quoting Maurice Ewing here, sometime in the distant past, this sand found deep beneath the ocean must have been located on a beach at or near the surface of the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and he says that the conclusion that the land must have sunk 2 to 3 miles, he calls that startling. It's startling.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have from 54, the ocean floor. This was a study by Hans Petersen, who was a Swedish geologist, marine geologist, and this was like a follow-up expedition. And he's talking here at a depth of 4,400 meters. The core sampler brought up a core nearly 9 meters long, the uppermost parts of which consisted of fairly homogeneous, fine-grained deep sea clay. But in the lower part, several layers of sand were found, which mineralogical examination showed to be not mafic, which is oceanic basalt, but of continental origin. That is derived from a coastal shelf of some continent or large island. Most surprising of all, in the lowest stratum of this sand were found vegetable remains.
Whoa. So that deep down, so a 9-foot core, and at the bottom levels, they were finding vegetable cores and essentially evidence that it was from an island. That's fascinating. What caused the mud flood? It's a good question. Don't know there, Mr. Joe Man over there on Build. It's a good question, though. Neurodivergent one with a whoosh, slab of that peach. What's up, KCJ Gates? Good to see you. We're talking about some stuffing things. Atlantis.
Twigs, nuts, and bark fragments of dicotyledonous bushes or trees.
Got a 9-foot core. I don't know what that translates. I'm sure they're going to get into it, but if a 9-foot core, if you're finding like sand that's from an island and twigs and vegetation, that means that something was deep and buried. How many civilizations have been buried in layers of mud or sediment? Like that's something that's crazy. That is crazy. Thanks for watching tonight, KCJ.
Speaking still more emphatically, a continental or island origin. Finally, in the uppermost parts of the same core, Flieger and his co-workers found a displaced fauna consisting of benthotic, which is bottom-dwelling, shallow water foram shells, which apparently had lived in depths of about 100 meters. This is 2 miles below the ocean.
Sure.
So over and over.
9 kilometer. Okay.
One is at a loss to explain how these products of a coastal shelf and submarine vegetation could have been carried to the position. The nearest part of the coast of South America is the Amazon estuary, which is situated far away. He goes on to say, in the event that a large island harboring vegetation and with a fairly extensive shelf crowned the mid-Atlantic ridge and became submerged during a catastrophe of seismic volcanic character. So right there, this is going back now to the 1950s or 40s, 50s. They're looking at this evidence that suggests something happened, that this is much lower than in the sea bottom than should. And then we have coming forward to, again, that same year, 1954, again, Maurice Ewing, and he's talking about the Atlantis cruiser and Great Meteor seamounts rise from a broad ridge or plateau, which extends from the mid-Atlantic ridge at 37 degrees north, 32 degrees west. The Atlantis seamount, briefly explored in 1947 and 1948, was found by echo sounding and submarine photography to have a fairly flat bedrock summit area at about 180 fathoms, covered in some cases by cobbles and in other by current rippled sand. Its slopes are covered with sand or ooze, symmetrically rippled at 400 fathoms and marked by slump features at 570 fathoms. About a ton of flat pteropod limestone cobbles was dredged from the summit area. One of the cobbles gave an apparent radiocarbon age of 12,000 years.
Wow. That was going to be my next question. Had any of this material been carbon dated?
A fathom of water is a nautical unit of depth equal to 6 feet, about 1.83 meters. Well, there you go. Historically derived from the length of a man's outstretched arms. I didn't know that. I needed to look it up. 9 kilometers is apparently 5.59 miles. Nice. A fathom is 6 feet.
Dated. So that's fascinating. So 12,000 years, that puts us back into the Younger Dryas time frame.
Yes. And let me finish.
It always goes back to the Younger Dryas for these guys. It's a common thing. It's a common thing.
It's a quote.
Yeah.
The state of lithification of the limestone suggests that it may have been lithified under subaerial conditions.
Right.
In the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And that the seamount may have been an island within the past 12,000 years.
Wow. And this is in a mainstream source?
This is mainstream source, yes.
Going back to the 1950s when there were mainstream scientists who still had open minds.
Yeah, 1954.
Lithification, if you don't know, which I didn't know, I heard a new word. I had to look it up. Much like Kai Cenat. people were giving him hell for that. It's like, what are you doing? This is how you learn new things. You don't know a definition of a word, you look it up. Come on now. Lithification is the geological process that turns loose, unconsolidated sediments like sand, mud, or shells into solid sedimentary rock through compaction, which is what I figured from the context of the sentence, but it's good to look it up and make sure. So, key step of the rock cycle. Turning soft to hard. It is geological Viagra. Lithification. You're welcome.
The cruiser and Great Meteor Seamount studied in 1952 had larger, flatter summits at 150 and 165 fathoms depths. These youthful geos may have originated as volcanoes, which were later capped by limestone, and more recently have sunk beneath the sea. So this is the empirical data that's beginning to accumulate. There's a lot more than this, but getting back to your question about isostasy,
which is how this stuff sinks beneath the sea, really. If sea level rise isn't enough, is isostasy the mechanism that drives it beneath the sea? And if so, can you visualize that for us? Can you envisage what that might have meant if you were on the mid-Atlantic ridge at a time of an isostatic collapse? What would it have felt like?
Well, it would have felt like one god-awful earthquake, I think. And then you would have had enormous tsunamis washing in over what had previously been subaerial or above the sea level. There is evidence of a major collapse. I don't know how much time we've got because I actually gave.
Well, what we've not done is explained isostasy properly, and I think it would be good if you could address that, Randall.
Right. So here I was just showing some of the empirical data consistent with subsidence. Now this is from 1969. Tectonic implications of glacio-eustatic sea level fluctuations. It appeared in Earth and Planetary Science Letters by a team. Now, eustatic is the rise and fall of sea level commensurate with the expansion and contraction of glaciers on land.
Yeah.
Right? Glaciers melt, you have eustatic rise. So that's important. Eustatic rise and fall of sea level is directly related to isostatic differentiation of the bottom of the ocean bottom. So this is what was published in 1969, Tectonic Implications of Glacio-Eustatic Sea Level Fluctuations. The possible tectonic implications of glacio-eustatic sea level fluctuations have only received minor attention in connection with such problems as ocean floor spreading. The purpose of this report is to point out that late Pleistocene sea level data suggest that the ocean basins have responded isostatically and by a significant amount to the loading and unloading of water associated with Pleistocene glaciation.
Right.
So this was the beginning of these studies that yes, if you've got this major rise of sea level, you have to have a compensatory downward movement of the sea bottom.
But also there's the other side of the equation, which is the ice mass being lifted off North America. Which then you have isostatic rebound at the opposite end of that seesaw would be pretty much the mid-Atlantic ridge.
Yes. Can I do a share screen here? I believe we can do that. If I have, we'll see here. These are some images.
I have faith in you, Randall.
Aerial images taken years ago of the area around Hudson Bay, which Hudson Bay was the center of the great North American ice mass. Let's see. Is this the one? There we go. Okay, so these are elevated and abandoned shorelines along Hudson Bay. The highest one is about 1,500 feet above present sea level.
Wow.
And I can go to the next. There's a couple of variations of it.
A lot of people were complaining about the iPhone update. I like the glass look, the liquid glass look for the little boxes for your apps and stuff. I'm okay with it. The clock thing looks a little bit weird though. I don't know how I feel about the clock thing. I need to change it. I want it more solid.
So this is a rebound now of continental granitic bedrock. This is the core of the North American continent, and it was where the thickest part of the Laurentide ice sheet was, at about 1.5 miles thick. And in this photograph,
look at that.
Here's Hudson Bay out here. And what you'll see is that as you go back in time, as we come forward, you're going back in time.
They're getting quite sophisticated with their terminology, aren't they, Tant?
The largest displacements occurred.
It says continents rise when the heavy glaciers shrink. Chill on the jargon. They gotta sound like smarty pants.
Immediately after the deglaciation. So in other words, the early stages of rebound were much faster than later on.
To put this in simplistic terms, when we talk about rebound, what we're saying is that landmass was pressed down by the massive weight of the ice. And then as the ice came off, as it turned into water and went back into the world ocean, the land began to rebound upwards.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly right. And the point is in what's in geophysics, the geoid of the Earth is always trying to move towards equilibrium.
Yeah.
So if one place is rising, somewhere else needs to be going down. And that depression is going to not necessarily be uniform. It's going to be focused along the zones of least resistance.
Yeah.
This is now 1974. This is from the professional journal Quaternary Research. The title of the article is Late Quaternary, Glacio, and Hydroisostasy on a layered Earth. So hydro meaning isostasy driven by movements in ocean volume. Hydroisostasy, the concept that meltwater from Pleistocene ice caps produced loadings of ocean floors such that significant global deformation followed. Recently has been examined by Walcott. The earlier qualitative assessments of hydroisostasy as an important factor in glacioeustasy are qualitatively supported by Walcott, who also demonstrated that the effects of glacioeustatic inundation will vary with location. And again, beyond the time we've got to discuss this today, but obviously one of those variants are going to be focused along areas of least resistance. And clearly one of those would be along a triple plate junction, such as we find associated with the
again, in the role of simplifying this, we're to envisage a North America where the landmass is pushed down by the weight of ice, and a mid-Atlantic ridge which is pushed up the opposite end of the seesaw. And then when the reverse happens, the mid-Atlantic ridge subsides catastrophically beneath the sea. And this coupled with sea level rise.
So they're saying essentially North American continent teetered, and the North and the Atlantic ridge were teeter-tottering. And like when one went up, the other one rose, and then went down, the other one went up. So like now we're saying the Atlantic went down and the North American continent went up. Okay. Interesting.
Results in the loss of a kind of Atlantis-sized landmass.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. I mean, that's it. And that's a good analogy, a seesaw type effect. And so
Thank you, Graham Hancock, for saying something, making it simple, because brevity is the essence of wit. And that's what Graham... Now, I'm not knocking Randall here. He was reading like textbook-like kind of jargon. That's what he was doing. Glacial melts don't always mean a universal rise in sea levels. Well, fair, because what if you have a glacial melt going on and you have freeze happening somewhere else? That's the example that I would give for that.
Are we to enter another ice age and 400 feet of sea level, which is hundreds of billions of trillions of tons of water, removed, you're going to have the analogy again I used was like, just think of a beach ball and you press it this way, it expands this way, right? And when I don't know if it was you and I together on Joe Rogan, but we were talking about Atlantis, and I was trying to explain isostasy to him, and he was sitting on a nice, soft, comfortable chair, and I said, right now, Joe, the chair you're sitting on is undergoing isostatic depression because of the weight of your ass. and he got it. I think he got it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That red rook means you've been gifted a sub or you're subscribed. Fairly sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, one of the intriguing aspects of Plato, which of course causes a great deal of controversy, is the statement he passes down to us that the submergence of Atlantis happened 9,000 years before Solon's visit to the temple of Neith at Sais in the Delta. That's drawing from the quoted words of the Egyptian priest, which coincides 9,000 years before Solon is 9,600 BC, which coincides perfectly with meltwater pulse 1b, which Plato could not possibly have known about, and nevertheless he gives us a date which coincides with what is recognized as a catastrophic era. But at the same time, we have all these desperate attempts by those who want everything to be young to say, oh, Plato didn't mean years, he meant months. And I'm saddened to see that people who style themselves as alternative thinkers are also grasping onto this hopeless straw that Plato was somehow referring to lunar months when the reference was to 9,000 instead of to solar years. And if Anybody knew their solar years, it was the ancient Egyptians. Again, it's an effort to castrate Atlantis, to turn it into something safe that nobody has to worry about, which doesn't rewrite the.
Don't castrate Atlantis. That could be a cool metal band name. Castration of Atlantis. It's a mouthful. Atlantis castration. There you go. It's pretty hardcore. What's up, the crazy duck lady? Good to see you.
Entire historical timeline. Tell me your views on this.
Well, let's just do a quick share screen again, and there we go. Okay, so here's the Greek of, and this is just one sample. We could have done multiple samples.
Sure.
Here's the Greek, though, from Timaeus, and I've underlined this word up here, eton.
Yep.
Eton. Well, eton is the Greek word for years,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a completely different word for month, which is mu, eta, nu, which is almost word moon. It's from where we get our word month. So
Right.
there's two very distinct words, one for years, one for months.
Mhm.
Plato uses the word eton, which is years. He
Yeah, I think our ancestors knew a lot more than we think.
doesn't use the word month. He uses the word that we understand is
Thank you,
annual
crazy
cycles
duck
around
lady.
the sun, years.
Appreciate you.
Okay. Then also, if we go back here, we look at 9,000 lunar years or months. That's 750 solar years.
Mhm.
Okay. So according to Herodotus, Solon was in Egypt during the 26th dynasty, which lasted from 664 BC to 525 BC. Solon's then in Egypt circa about 600 BC in round numbers.
Mhm.
Again, according to Herodotus, during the reign of Amasis. Okay. Now, 600 BC plus 750 years brings us back to 1,350 BC.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we can see here that's the end of the reign of Amenhotep and the beginning of the reign of Akhenaten. This was the 18th dynasty. Now, if we accept the lunar explanation, we're supposed to believe then that their sacred registers only really essentially go back to the reign of Akhenaten.
Exactly.
Which is 18th dynasty of the New Kingdom.
Yeah.
Well, then we've completely lost everything prior to that.
Yeah, the Turin Papyrus and the incredible renal lengths in the king lists of ancient Egypt, for example, at the Temple of Seti I in Abydos, going back and back and back in time, and to reduce all that to a period of 750 years is just actually plain stupid.
Well, yes, and there's a lot more problems with it, but you can see immediately the whole chronology falls apart. Even the academically accepted chronology makes no sense. Any alternative chronology, no chronology here makes sense.
Yeah.
And to me, the fact that the terminology that was used by Plato is clearly referencing years and
Yes.
not months.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's just another one of those ways of distracting from the core issue. Another one being the tendency of those who criticize the whole notion of Atlantis to separate Plato's story of Atlantis, to separate that from the global flood tradition, the fact that we have more than 200, 300 flood myths all around the world, which speak of a global cataclysm, which speak of a time before the flood, often described as a golden age, which
Agreed,
speak
Laura.
of humanity somehow angering the gods and the universe striking us down. This is not a story that's limited to Plato. This is a story that's found all around the world. And one of the ways that those who specialize in so-called debunking try to attack Atlantis is to completely ignore the global flood tradition, of which Atlantis is just one small part. It's not even the largest. It's not even the largest part of it.
Crazy duck lady. Are they ducksicles right now?
Exactly. And when you bring the geophysics into it, like we've just been talking about here,
Yeah.
clearly it is the rapid melting of the ice sheets, not only North American, but also the North European. The whole Fano-Scandian ice sheets were huge in their own right, much
Absolutely.
bigger than what now mantles Greenland.
What if humanity at the time set off had the capability of nuclear weapons, and that's what caused the ice to melt quickly? Wouldn't that be interesting? What if it wasn't a comet? What if it was a man-made cataclysm? It's interesting. So long as Randall is speaking technically, it's a peeve of mine when people say 750 when it's 750 and denotes a decimal point with numbers and language. You're good. You had a little touch of the tism with that one there, huh, Dan?
Timing suggests that the melt.
I had a moment the other day. I had a moment. Somebody said it was at work, and somebody said hot water heater, and I instantly stopped paying attention I stopped. It was literally like Charlie Brown wah, wah, wah after that, because I was stuck on somebody said hot water heater. If it was already hot, why do you need the heater? It's a water heater. It's not a hot water heater. You're heating it up when it's hot. It's already hot enough. You didn't need to heat it anymore. Yes, that's what my brain does. Maybe it's little bit of OCD. Maybe it's a touch of the tism. I don't know, but I wasn't paying attention anymore, and I was stuck. Okay, I was stuck. You should go to the Younger Triathlons bill. Tism rules. Tism rules. Yes, that happened to me. Then I don't like odd numbers in volume.
The catastrophic melting of both sheets happened in a series of huge pulses.
Laura, you say hot water heater, or do you empathize with my tism? It's a water heater
of meltwater.
Yeah.
The final pulse of that meltwater pulse 1B, just purely coincidentally, is dated 11,600 years ago.
Yeah.
Like Plato told us that 2,300 years ago.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And the final subsidence of Atlantis followed that rapid pulse of sea level rise.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just ignore that. So like you said, the flood myths, I think we can attribute, primarily to three factors. One, the direct glacial melting, such as you and I were exploring in our traverse.
Can they get a submarine and just go down there and investigate already? You guys got to have enough money by now, okay? You say hot water heater? Now! Water heater. You can post a video of my geese mating on X without getting suspended. You should be fine. Yeah. Damn corkscrew. Why has it got to be so violent with ducks and geese? I'm assuming geese have the same thing. Let's see. Chop says, I have no problem using longer form English to provide greater context. I detest having to shorten so much to fit in comments and replies. That's fair. So when I said earlier that brevity is the essence of wit, I'm not necessarily knocking a lengthy explanation or a more detailed explanation. Sometimes people get flowery with their language and go a little bit extra when you could take a paragraph or a page. When you can take a page to a paragraph or a paragraph to a sentence, if possible.
From Portland to Minneapolis.
Absolutely.
Major tsunami events
Yeah.
that could inundate coastal areas. And then the rainout from these catastrophic events, obviously a bolide impact either into an ocean or into
there you go, crazy duck lady,
is going to inject enormous amounts of water vapor into the atmosphere that is then going to have to rain out over a period of weeks.
Yeah.
And what we find when we look at the flood myths, some of them provide some details that are not provided by other accounts. So you have to almost take it holistically and realize that, different cultures had different perspectives on these events.
And also different experiences. I mean,
Yes.
it's fascinating in the Iranian, the ancient Persian accounts, that what is described is less a flood and more of an incredible deep freeze, an absolute a freeze from which people must seek shelter by digging underground shelter.
And they finally did it, crazy duck lady? That's a hell of a lot of foreplay involved. 2 years, my God. I hope things went well. Hopefully they went off without a hitch.
It's described. Again, these are the consequences of the kind of global cataclysm that we're envisaging, that brought the Younger Dryas to. And in fact, there really were, in my view, two cataclysms: the beginning of the Younger Dryas and the end of the Younger Dryas.
Yes. I even speculate there was a preliminary catastrophe associated with meltwater 1's Pulse 1A that could have happened about 14.6.
Yes.
I'm still exploring that.
Yeah.
I don't have a definitive opinion on it one way or another, but it almost.
I'll tell you my view, if I may, that if there has been a lost civilization, and I emphasize I've never claimed to have proved that there was a lost civilization, nor have any of us. I'm just claiming that it's an interesting matter to investigate, given the huge amount of anomalies that we have, that we have all around the world. I've kind of lost my track here. What was I saying? If there was a lost civilization.
Well, I mentioned that there was possibly a third inundation, dated a little earlier at 14,600.
Yeah, that was my point. If there was a lost civilization, that earlier.
Isn't it the rod that heats the water in the tank? It's the rod, isn't it? That's the one that gets all the calcium buildup and mineral buildup on it.
Event would have been what alerted them, would have been what woke them up to the danger
Yes.
that was coming, that would have made them pay attention to all of this and to be in some state of preparedness when the real cataclysms of the Younger Dryas took place.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's pretty much the same framework that I'm looking at it. That would have been like a precursor catastrophe.
Yeah.
And that was then followed.
It's like your teaser catastrophe?
Followed by the Younger Dryas, the lower boundary, which we're placing between 12.8 and
again, I'm sorry to interrupt, but it's particularly interesting after that meltwater pulse 1A, that 14,500, 14,000, whatever, 800 years ago. It's after that you begin to see the first stirrings, the first traces of what becomes the Tastepler civilization in Turkey. The very earliest, they suddenly sort of start popping up after that. There's definitely something went on before the Younger Dryas, no doubt.
Thanks, Tantalum.
Yes, I think that there were, you want to call it almost forewarnings or precursor events. Typically, like oftentimes when you have a major volcanic eruption, they will be preceded by smaller eruptions. That's what happened with Krakatoa. Krakatoa didn't all of a sudden blow its stack. It spent several months warning, lesser eruptions were occurring, seismic events were occurring, and then finally that was building up to the climactic event, which was this big, what was it, 1883, I believe.
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah. But Plato actually describes he says, there have been and will be again many destructions of mankind arising out of many causes. The greatest have been brought about by the agencies of fire and water.
Yeah.
And then, of course, as you well know, he goes on to describe and invoke the story of Phaeton.
Yes.
Right. Phaeton, there's a story, he says, which even you, he's talking to Solon there, which even you have preserved, that once upon a time Phaeton, the son of Helios, having yoked the steeds in his father's chariot, was not able to drive them in the path of his father, and he burned up all that was upon the earth and was himself destroyed by a thunderbolt. Now, here's, to me, the most interesting line. Now, this has the form of a myth, but it really signifies a decline of the bodies moving around the earth and in the heavens, and a great conflagration of all things upon the earth, occurring at long intervals of time. So it's like he's opening the story of Atlantis by invoking the myth of Phaeton.
Yeah.
And then he says, well,
cosmic cataclysm. Yes.
Yeah. And then he said, well, it has the form of a myth, but here's what it really signifies. I mean, it's pretty clear cut, I think, what Plato's doing there.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that he felt at liberty to incorporate elements of myth and tradition within his own philosophy, where it was useful to do that. And in that way, his philosophy serves as a time capsule that has carried down precious memories from the deep past, that if we are willing to open our minds and consider them, can completely reframe our picture of the origins of civilization.
Well, I think the position we're at now is that in contrast to the mainstream narrative that's being pushed on us, science itself is confirming the veracity of the ancient traditions.
Yeah.
I almost look, okay, here's the myths, the legends, the folklore, the ancient traditions. Here's modern science, and this is what I think is happening.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It is slowly happening. There is an old guard, particularly in archaeology, that vehemently defend what in many ways is a completely discredited paradigm, and will continue to do so, clinging on by the skin of their teeth for as long as possible, and doing as much harm and damage as they can to anybody who suggests alternative points of view. But the writing is on the wall, and the new evidence keeps on coming in, I don't know what that evidence proves, except one thing. It proves that the structure of history and prehistory that we've been given, the further back you go, the less reliable that structure is. That we've been given a story about our...
Isn't it amazing with like science, how doctrines get formed, how they're supposed to... The way science works is you're open to new evidence to challenge hypotheses, challenge theories, so that you can adjust and then rework them. That's the way science is supposed to be. And even laws, if there's new evidence that challenges a scientific law, you're supposed to be able to to consider it. But it's a strange happening that we see in mainstream like science that just rejects the idea that the textbooks could be wrong. Is that involved? Is that because the people who own the textbook industry, or I don't know,
past, which does not explain a vast number of anomalies that need explanation. And that's why people are so uncomfortable with the mainstream archaeological narrative. It's not because archaeologists are bad people. They're doing important work, great work. They're the tools that they use and the mindset, the professionalism that they bring to the investigation of the past are incredibly important. Their mistake is thinking that they have a monopoly on this, that those are the only tools and the only mindset that works. And I think what we're saying is that we need to break that monopoly, that other voices need to be allowed in. Our collective past as a species cannot be owned. The keys to it cannot be owned by a small group of academics.
Crazy Duck Lady,
That's exactly
it's
right.
restricted
And,
or private.
the
Your
thing
video.
about archaeology, which is also sort of the thing with
You need to
geology,
make it public.
is that you may have an archaeologist who essentially it spends 5 or 10 years on one dig.
Yeah.
And as far as that goes, there's not going to be anybody else who knows nearly as much as they do about that one specific site.
Correct. Yeah.
But that does not necessarily then endow them with the ability to see the big picture.
Yeah.
And then, like you just said, you use the word monopoly. And
Yeah.
I think that's what they think. Well, yes, we
Nobody has a monopoly on knowledge.
we know some names. We won't mention the names, but we've seen that.
Mention the names. Get the drama. Form it. You'll get more views that way.
Exactly that mindset. Well, I happen to be the foremost expert on this particular archaeological site at this particular time, and therefore extrapolating from that, I can project onto the whole big picture.
Yeah.
And same thing happens in geology. I mean, you may read a geological paper where a geologist has spent years looking at one outcrop and studying one outcrop.
He does need some
Well,
Abreva.
absolutely, they're going to know as much about that outcrop or more than anybody else.
Yeah.
But that does not endow them necessarily with the ability to conceptualize the big picture.
Absolutely not.
And so much of like just what you and I did together when we made that traverse.
Yeah.
We explored the scab lands, and then we moved in.
Really quick, you guys want to see some ducks mating? Crazy Duck Lady posted this. They're geese, excuse me. Goosey mating, caught on video. Real quick. We'll get back to Graham. We'll get back to Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. Now we're on to Goosecock. He's very ready to go, guys. Let's watch it. Let's watch geese get after it. Goosey mating, caught on video. Thanks for sharing, Crazy Duck Lady. Follow Crazy Duck Lady. Hell's Duck Nuggets. Yeah, nice. Get it. Get it. Wrong way. Wrong way. That's her. You're reverse 69ing. That's not going to get anything done. Try harder. Try harder. Up, up, up. Hey, she's not drowning. Doesn't sound like she's having fun. Hey! They got after it. With a roar. Thanks for sharing. Oh, God. Duck fucker. That was a goose. It was not a duck. How dare you? Scientism has been a hindrance for science for generations. Yes. I mean, hell, you look at it. They called them heretics, essentially. Those that would challenge those that said that it was a what is it called? Is it geocentric? Is that what it's called when you think the Earth is the center of the solar system? Is that what it's called? Geocentric, I think. Instead of, is it heliocentric? Was the I don't know. I've slept since I read into this, but I thought I heard some lefties yelling. It sounded just like them. Just like them. Where am I getting these words? I just had words pop into my mouth, my mind, and I just let them come out of my mouth just now. Is it geocentric, heliocentric? I don't know. Words are hard. Okay? Words are hard. Back to Randall and Graham. But yeah, people that thought that the sun was the center of the solar system were, mocked, ridiculed, possibly put in prison.
Into Montana, we looked at some of the area around the glacial lake that was presumed to be the source of the floods.
Yeah.
And then we came across.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
Now, do you remember?
I knew words. I was right. Thanks, Dantlin.
The last site that you and I went to together was up on the St. Croix River, and we saw those giant potholes. I have this great photograph of you I'm down in the pothole, and you're leaning over looking into it.
Yes.
Now, that was not created by any modern forces.
No.
That was a singular event when you had a gigantic flood of meltwater coming down through the St. Croix River Valley.
Yeah.
And that dates to pretty much the dating that I've been able to see on that, puts it right in the same window as the cutting of Grand Coulee and all the rest that we were seeing in the Scablands.
Yeah.
We can come forward to the Finger Lakes of Western New York, and we'll find the same dates.
Mm.
What's missing, in my opinion, is connecting the dots.
Yeah. The big picture.
The big picture.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to be going. We need to have researchers now that are coming out, looking at the big picture and starting to connect these dots, because you've got geologists and archaeologists looking at all of these sites, but not connecting the dots yet.
Exactly so.
We need to start. Yeah.
And that's why conferences like this are important. And it's why we need to remember and we need to remind the quackademics that members of the general public also have important insights to bring to this party. That it is not simply the quote unquote qualified archaeologist who has a right to speak about the past or to have insights. That we should be open to the insights of all and everyone, because the past is a deep mystery. I mean, as a species, we keep somehow pretending to ourselves that.
Hey, Candace said that Charlie Kirk was a time traveler. Maybe we can talk to him. Well, never mind.
It isn't, but it is really a deep mystery. Who are we? Where do we come from? Is there a purpose to life? Is there a meaning to life? The ancients devoted their best minds to considering such matters, whereas today we pay way too much attention to trivia and to passing fads and fancies. You know, we need to learn. We need to learn from the past. This is the message, and to do so with a sense of respect and a sense of humility.
There you go, Spidey Pie.
It's that disrespect for Plato that I come across in academics. So whenever he says something that doesn't fit with their narrow and limited picture of the past, they immediately disrespect him. These same academics, present themselves as being champions of indigenous peoples. Indigenous peoples in places like the Amazon rainforest believe in spirits. They have encounters with entities in altered states of consciousness. And if you put that to an academic, they'll say, "Oh, that's just rubbish. That has no meaning at all." So beneath their politically correct veneer, the experts in these fields actually despise indigenous traditions and the word of the past that has come down to us.
Well, yeah, in the aftermath of the first ancient apocalypse, in the
Tantalum, her husband just needs to revoke her online privileges. Change my mind. Yeah, when she mentioned the time travel thing, I'm like, really? This guy, something Crowder, Jordan Crowder, I think, on X. He's like, 5 years ago, I'd have told you she was crazy, and I'm like, this is the clip that makes you think she's not. And he's like, he's responding. He's like, I think she's quite intelligent. I was like, I never said she wasn't intelligent. You can be crazy you can be batshit crazy and smart. That happens. Charlie Kirk's a time traveler. Good God. Special school, the X-Men. You never seen him at the meetings. You've never seen him at the meetings that we have every last Thursday. So that's oh man, every last Thursday. Cool.
That was the title of it, right?
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. Okay. It's the criticisms of it were that it's like you were disrespecting the indigenous people of the past, right?
Yeah.
And their traditions. When my reading of it is no, it's exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
Because you guys are the ones who are discrediting the core of their traditions.
Yes. That's the whole problem. They don't, and the quackademics don't seem to see this. That they need to listen to the.
Oh, and then to post my profile picture. First of all, that is the boomerest thing you can do on X, in my opinion. It's like, what point are you trying to prove by posting my publicly presented profile picture? Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense at all. What's up, So Long Ago Picture Show? Thank you so much for the raid. Appreciate that. We're talking about Atlantis and different geological stuff. All kinds of fun stuff. If you're new to the Dozer Den, hi there. I'm Bill Dozer. Nice to meet you. Don't forget to smash that like button. Follow this channel. Share the stream out. Repost, comment, all those good things. Appreciate you. So Long Ago Picture Show with a raid. Been a minute since I've seen you, but I do appreciate you. So Long Ago Picture Show. Guys, if you haven't followed So Long Ago Picture Show, go ahead and follow him. Worth a follow, worth your viewership. let's get back to it. Talking about Atlantis. We're going to be going for another probably 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to rate out ourselves. So that's not what I wanted to share. Wrong one. Wrong screen. There you go. Neuro with the link. Thanks, Mod King. Appreciate you. Boy, that discussion with Jake Lang and Viva was something earlier. Yeah. Burnt space alien. No.
The voices of the past, and the voices of the past say there was a worldwide cataclysm, and before it there was some kind of golden age. There was something before it that was destroyed and ended. We cannot simply ignore that testimony because it doesn't fit with the time frame that a relatively limited group of scholars have imposed.
There is, some of the critics have said, well, the Egyptians, it's implausible that they could have preserved a tradition for 9,000 years. That's been put forward. Yet recently, within the last year or two, I've been doing some researching on indigenous peoples of the Great Basin area, which includes mostly Nevada, but a lot of Utah. There's the, what are they called? You've ever heard of the Burning Man Festival?
Yeah, I've even been there.
Oh.
Burning Man. Of course he's been there. Of course Hancock's been there getting tripping balls. Of course he has. Dude likes his psychedelics.
Okay, so that's
amazing experience.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. You fucking hippie.
I've not been there, but the Black Rock Desert, where that is held, was one of the basins of glacial Lake Lahontan, which was the second largest lake in that Great Basin region. At the site of the Burning Man Festival, the water was 500 feet deep.
Wow.
And people that are attending that are not thinking about, well, not so long ago, there was 500 feet of water here.
That's crazy.
The total depth of Lake Lahontan at its deepest bay was about 900 feet. Wow. Well, so the tribes, the Paiute tribe was the primary American Indian tribe that lived in that region. And they had stories and legends that go back, well, they said go back to, they remember their ancestors there were living on the shores of a great lake, and there were ice up on the mountains to the west.
Yeah.
Right? Well, it was never taken seriously, but because of the fact that the lake was gone by 10,000 years ago. Right. And the glaciers on the mountains essentially were gone at the same time. But the first thing they did was, this was in the 90s, they were.
Dantle, I'm just so happy if you pick up chicks at Burning Man, your manhood could end up burning. That's not the rash you want. You want a rumble rash. You want a rumble rash. You don't want the Burning Man rash. You don't want your crotch burning after that. No. Catch a rumble rash. It's much better. My voice is failing me. That is a horrible Trump. My bad.
Persuaded because there had been in the early 20th century a cave that had been discovered by, I believe he was an archaeologist, and he was exhuming in the cave. He was digging, and he found 60 mummies in that cave. Right? Okay, so now this cave, interestingly, was very close to the high water mark of Lake Lahontan. So the assumption was that the vigorous currents of the lake is what eroded this cave into this limestone, right? What became of those mummies, no one really knows. But it was reported in the local press that this guy found this. Then in the 1940s or 30s, in the 1930s, there was a rancher who was digging a well down on the floor of the basin, and he uncovered a skeleton of an individual that was 8 feet tall.
Oh,
now this was also reported. I was actually able to go in and find copies online of the newspaper, the local newspaper from that year. Found the
giants were real.
Actual account where it describes him finding that. Well, so now fast forward to the 1990s, and there, because of the Native American Graves and Repatriation Act, there was several additional mummy found in another cave much more recently. And the tribe wanted to repatriate that. They wanted to rebury it. So there was a controversy very similar to the Kennewick Man controversy.
Yeah.
And the result of it is that the tribe finally agreed to do radiocarbon dating. But they said only the Danish geneticist that did the dating on the Kennewick Man, because we don't trust American scientists.
Carbon dating is a bit flawed. Aren't they supposed to be using like argon? Was it argon one of the noble gases that apparently might give you a more accurate date? Because you can like cook something in a microwave. You could burn it in a microwave and it'll say that it's, hundreds of years old when it's like from today. I think it's argon. Maybe.
they said. So they brought him in. He did radiocarbon dating, and it came out to 10,000 years old, or even older.
Yeah.
Even older. Okay. So this is in the 90s. Fast forward about another 10 years, and the tribes are claiming ancestral connections with this mummified figure. So they do DNA testing, the tribes and the figure, and guess what happens? They find out that they are genetically related.
How interesting, yes.
Genetically. So now the point being, though, they have traditions of their ancestors living on a lake that disappeared 10,000 years ago.
So the oral tradition has preserved accurate historical information, which has, of course, was never written down, but which has been passed down from family to family over multiple generations and still remains intact today. And indeed, this is the case worldwide. Very similar examples from Australia have recently come out, where we know that oral traditions can be fantastically accurate, and in some ways more accurate than written traditions, because nothing endures as well as a great story. You know, passed down story embed important factual information in it, and even if later storytellers don't know the meaning of that factual information, as long as they pass the story on true, that factual information will pass on with it.
Right, and we also have to believe that, and understand, not to believe, but understand that the oral tradition was very different from just somebody casually telling a story.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it was a very structured thing.
Totally.
And you know, one of the places where that tradition is still preserved is the much maligned, wrongly maligned Masonic fraternity. Because what you have there is a tradition that goes back now.
Multiple forms of dating, Bill, usually should use carbon, uranium, and others to cross-reference for accuracy. Topside TMC says carbon dating is wildly inaccurate. Brock University in Canada has a chunk of lump of charcoal that RC dates negative 12,000 years old. It's from the future. Interesting. So uranium is one. Could have sworn I read that argon could be used, or one of the. I don't know. No, that wouldn't make sense. I forgot.
At least a 1,000 years. And the way that this is perpetuated is mouth to ear. And the narratives are recited over and over and over again until the recipient masters it to the word. And then it's handed on to the next and to the next, so that hundreds of years go by and virtually it's exactly the same words. Well, this is really representative of how these oral traditions worked. And Plato even describes that, how Solon, or rather Critias, describes how he listened over and over and over again until he could literally memorize the story that his grandfather was telling him.
Yeah. That's the way it was, and I'm reminded of that tradition of an Egyptian king criticizing Thoth for inventing writing. Saying that he had not invented a mechanism for remembering, he had invented a mechanism for forgetfulness, and that the writings would roam around the world unsupported by any wise advice, and that anybody could have access to them and nobody would know what to do with them. I thought there was a lot of wisdom in that. It seemed counterintuitive at first, but you know, it makes sense.
It makes sense, yeah. And I mean, I know my own experience when I went into the craft, learning the ritual in its entirety. I spent almost 7 years until I had mastered it to the point where I could stand and recite literally 2.5 hours from memory. Now, I've forgotten a lot of it because I haven't been active in over a decade, but it's all still here.
Sure.
If I heard it again a few times, it would all come back.
I think actually that some of the mysteries in our past that remain to be exposed do concern secret societies and do concern a behind the scenes organization that is somehow involved in making civilizations. I won't go too far into that, but there are so many traditions, for example, from ancient Sumer, which speak of this, which speak of the role of these particular advisors who seem to be part of a esoteric or secretive group, which is there to guide and advise societies over very, very long periods of time. And you know, the academic disbelief that such ideas could be retained for thousands of years is, in my view, nonsense. Passed on within a highly structured oral tradition, the ideas can survive potentially forever.
Potentially, yes. And it brings to something, a question that I've intrigued me for a long time, which is that given catastrophes, you know, one of the details of myths over and over again is that there was some group, some individuals that had foreknowledge.
Yeah.
Now, where did that foreknowledge come? I mean, we can kick it upstairs and say it was some kind of divine revelation, but that doesn't really explain anything.
Lost ancient science.
Right. Somebody, consistently, somebody had foreknowledge. They were able to prepare, again, referring to like the Masonic craft. There's a legend of Enoch knowing that the flood was going to come. And so he took steps to preserve the ancient science and stories by.
And of course, it's the same story with Atrahasis in Mesopotamia.
Yes.
Warned by the god Ea or Enki of the coming of the flood, takes steps, makes preparations, and even buries tablets with knowledge upon them in the city of Sippar.
Yes, and
to be recovered later by mankind after the disaster.
Well, and then like Plato says right there in Timaeus, he says, well, those who survive are going to typically be who essentially survive by the luck of the draw are going to be wholly preoccupied with continuing to survive in the aftermath, in the desolation of, in the aftermath of a flood or a catastrophe. Whereas those who took steps to prepare are going to be the ones who are preserving the knowledge to pass it on. And that to me does not sound so exotic or esoteric or ridiculous. That, I mean, even today we have prepper movements, people who are
sure. It sounds perfectly reasonable. When it comes down to something that threatens the existence of the entire human race, we are an innovative and inventive species, and we would find a way around it. We'd find a way to keep the seed of knowledge going, to keep it coming through the catastrophe to the times that followed. And that's what I think we're living in. We're living in the times that followed, and that's what the ancient Sumerians also believed, that we're living in the post-Diluvian era. And this is ultimately the same story that Plato is telling us in the Atlantis tradition as well.
Exactly.
Anybody in the room who wants to answer a question?
Randall, Odyssey Marine Explorations of Tampa, Florida, dug up a shipwreck a decade ago worth $200 million. It was down 15,000 feet. They have the technology and the capability and the submarines to do research in 400, 500 fathoms of water pretty easily. Would you like to approach them and see if they'd be willing to join a search to explore what might be the seabed where Atlantis was?
Well, it's a good question. I asked this question earlier. This would be great. Yeah, this guy knows what's up.
You've got connections, sure.
I'd definitely a conversation,
and would not need to go down that deep. Between 1 and 2 miles to the surface of the Azores Plateau. Well, that would be a very interesting conversation to have, and I'd love to have that conversation.
Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. My biggest
What an impressive beard. Yes, I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for that. And my goodness gracious, what just happened? Yankee Free gifting out 5 subs to the chat. What an absolute freaking Chad Yankee. God bless you, good sir. Showering the chat with his love. Or spraying the chat with his love. Whatever verb you want to use. I'm not going to judge you, okay? I'm not. I do appreciate that. That is absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. That gets us to $30. That puts us $20 away from Fancy Hat Goal. That gets me a little bit excited. Look at that. Crazy Duck Lady, CW, gifted subs. You guys now have access to those emotes. There's some good ones, guys. There's some good ones. And I'm not going to lie. It makes me want to play one of my favorite clips.
See! Jews in space!
We're Jews out in space. We're zooming along, protecting the Hebrew race. We're Jews out in space. If trouble appears, we'll put it right back in its place. When Goyim attack us, we'll give them a smack, we'll slap them right back in the face.
Huzzah! Yes, the Jews in space. The Jews. Guys, did you see Fuentes was on with Tim Pool tonight? I watched a little bit of it. Wasn't bad. Bro, Hamburger Helper, are you Jewish? Yeah, apparently I have Jewish ancestry. I don't know how much. Oh, it hurts. Aw. Dang. It'll be all right. Hamburger Helper with a slap of that peach. You guys, Slidey Pie, also gifted a sub. I do appreciate the heck out of that. Guys, if you haven't followed Yankee Free, check Yankee Free out. I was on with them a couple Fridays ago. Good people. They drink good bourbon as well. Good conversations. Bam. Chad in the chat. Hells yes. Turning the chat red. You guys, you caught a rumble rash. It's okay. The only treatment is more America. It oozes patriotism. Don't worry, it's just patriotism oozing out of that red rumble rash. It's quite delightful. Quite delightful. Thanks, bud. Appreciate you. Got some solid content as well. I might be doing a drive-in stream next week whenever I'm going to Oklahoma again. It's a possibility. It is a possibility. Excuse me. All right, let's get back into it. This the Q&A is going to be interesting. See how they handle see if they can kind of field some of these questions on their feet.
Question is, what caused the 1 mile of ice over the northern hemisphere, and was that a catastrophic event that caused the 1 mile ice age? And how long do you think that existed prior to the Younger Dryas?
Complicated story. It really, you could almost say we're still in an ice age, but just in an invasive. We've had that ice mass over North America for more than 300,000 years. In fact, significantly, there have been lulls and there have been rises and falls.
They got an echo going on. That sucks.
Times like the Eemian about 140,000 years ago when things got really warmer than they are today. So it's not been a continuous story. But I think the general argument, and I'll defer to Randall here, is that to do with the Milankovitch cycle, to do with the Earth's relationship to the sun, the nature of orbit, liquidity, and even the precession of the equinoxes. All of this has an effect on Earth's climate. That's a mainstream point. I'd like to hear Randall's position on this.
Well, what I would say is that the onset of an ice age is so far pretty much still not explained. You've got this discontinuity there between the fact that you have to evaporate a whole lot of ocean water. It has to be precipitated out over land, and then it has to be able to freeze. So
couldn't a comet strike, like a giant rock hitting the ocean, and couldn't that cause evaporation of a large amount of the ocean, and then also with an ash cloud lead to cooling? You don't have the sunlight hitting the surface, and that would super cool the Earth. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. But I thought I've heard that explanation before, unless they just think that explanation is nonsense.
Think of an ice age. When we look, Graham just mentioned the Eemian that was warmer than now. In fact, glaciers had shrunk back to the point that sea levels were about 20 feet higher than now. Okay, so when the Eemian came to an end, it was a drastic situation where, imagine you're in Canada now, it gets cold in the winter, it snows, you might get many feet of snow, spring comes and that snow melts, goes back into the groundwater, the surface water, ultimately ends up going back into the oceans, right? And this cycle continues every year, right? Now, onset of an ice age, you get your winter, the snow falls, and then essentially, you can think of it this way, spring doesn't come for another 10,000 years. Something interrupts the normal cycle. Graham mentioned the Milankovitch forces, which are played out over a long, slow, protracted period, but there's something else juxtaposed on top of those Milankovitch cycles. And it requires a lot of heat to evaporate the water from the oceans, but then it has to be simultaneously cold over the continents. So it's a tricky situation, and I think we have to ultimately be looking at the effects of multiple bolide impacts.
Yeah.
Because if a bolide impact into an ocean, that's going to cause the injection of water vapor, and then if that was followed by a cosmic winter along the lines of Younger Dryas,
so
then perhaps you've got the mechanism for preventing the annual melting of that accumulation.
Yes, they kind of gave that option there. Laura Blades got to go to bed. Let me know tomorrow if they found Atlantis, so we could plan a meet up there. Hell yeah, Laura Blades. Appreciate you. Rest well.
Of ice. At the end of the Pleistocene, you had the final phase of the Great Ice Sheet was called the Wisconsin in North America. And there was the onset of the Late Wisconsin, which occurred about 26,000 years ago after a period of fairly relative warmth. And within 26 to 28,000 years ago, the climate rapidly got much colder. So the question you asked is an open question. it still has not been resolved yet. I do think, though, that it would be a futile attempt
Extinction
if
level
you're trying to
events?
explain the phenomena strictly on the basis of terrestrial phenomena. I
Yep.
think we have to start looking at the bigger cosmic picture to begin to make sense out of it.
Well, then, Graham, I don't know if you saw Brett Weinstein's response to you in the last couple days.
No.
But, he actually explained something that I'd never heard anyone talk about, that our solar system is traveling in our galaxy around other cosmic events, and that he actually thinks that it might be a outside of our atmosphere, or outside of our solar system event that might have actually caused some of the Younger Dryas
Yes.
events.
I mean, a very interesting point of view raised by my friend Walter Carlson on this matter is the possibility that our sun is part of a binary star, and that the binary is, which itself is already a binary, that we make all of the effects.
Oh, it's Graham that's echoing. That's rough. It's rough. How can lefties think climate change is a new phenomenon? I don't freaking know. Ignorance, willful ignorance. They're ostriches with their heads in the sand, taking it up the keister by big climate. That's all I've got. There's no consistency in their logic. They're illogical, inherently illogical. I don't get it. How come no one talks about the volcano spewing in Hawaii? Is there still a volcano? Is it currently spewing? Is it always spewing? You know, the volcanic eruptions, they put out more greenhouse gases than we do. But seems like climate change, maybe. That ain't by us. Not saying that we should just, pollute, uncontrollably, because I like, clean air, clean water, and all that good stuff. I like the parks. I like nature. I don't like seeing stuff being destroyed by man, but the large scale of things, we're not putting a dent in it. We're not.
So that question may be explained by a
Was last
very
week.
large
Cool.
orbit of our sun around another star. I think that it's, we're just beginning to see this of these cosmic mysteries. The Earth cannot exist without the cosmos. We're part of the cosmos, and the cosmos, of course, has enormous effects on Earth and on civilization.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen, for attending today and being leaders, showing leaderships of humanity, and leading us towards disclosure of truth and of the past, which we can all learn from the past, and that's why a lot of us are here for that today. I want to raise the issue of the real facts that are happening on Earth with regards to pole shifts, and the idea of the poles having moved in the last decade as much as the last 100 years. And the shifting
Chops
of
over there on Bill's head. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. China is trying to single-handedly put out more than volcanic activity. Fair. Tantalum, the one thing I've not heard anything about, not for a lack of trying, is what species the Younger Dryas knocked out of existence. Wouldn't that be key evidence? Huh. I would have to dig into that.
Well, seems to me as a very significant event that doesn't get talked much about. And could this be, as a part of the learning curve, could that have been the reason why we had the catastrophic?
My first thought was like megafauna, like kind of similar to like the mammoth and things like that. But that wasn't. Was that around that time? I'm not 100% sure. I think so. Mastodons. The flash freezing, them being frozen mid-bite, food going down their esophagus and their stomach. That's flash freeze. They're flash frozen. Yeah.
Failures in the past from a pole shift kind of a concept. And right now, could we be heading for that sort of thing right now because of how fast the poles are moving?
It's an important question. The first thing to make clear is that pole shifts and geographic pole shifts are not necessarily the same thing. However, it's hard to imagine that the magnetic pole is completely disconnected from the rotation of the planet Earth. There must be a connection. I've gone into the issue of pole shifts in the past many years ago in Tiggerfits, and I've kind of stayed away from it since then. Have you been looking at that issue in recent years?
There was an earthquake in California.
Yeah, but the pole shift one.
I saw. Was it a 5.1? I thought I saw somewhere that there was a 5.1 earthquake somewhere. I didn't know if it's California though.
The important distinction you made is between the geographic pole and the magnetic pole. I could argue that the motion of the magnetic pole is residual from the adjustments that occurred, the geophysical adjustments that occurred to this planet. to the extent that, I think like you, I immersed myself into the work of Charles Hapgood early on. And brilliant work. But towards the end, I think he sort of abandoned, he fully remained a catastrophist, but he sort of abandoned his original version of accelerated crustal pole shift.
Correct.
I would speculate that to the extent that pole shifts, not necessarily the magnetic pole, but a geographic pole, may actually be a consequence of the changing shape of the geoid. If you think about the rebounding of the crust that we were looking at, the picture of the isostatic rebounding under the ice sheet, well, it's likely that 1,500 feet was actually closer to 2,000 or half a mile in vertical movement away from the Earth's center of mass. Well, now we know that because of the rotation of the Earth, the equatorial diameter is 26 miles greater than the polar diameter. Well, what happens if you move a significant portion of a plate several thousand feet away from its point of equilibrium? I think that you could then have, as a consequence, a period of accelerated. Remember, we looked at those images and we saw that the earliest rebounds were the largest, right? And each step, it got smaller. It's still rebounding, right? Well, consider the possibility that the Earth's crust is then trying to readjust to the shape of the geoid, which would then cause, I believe, the possibility of accelerated plate tectonics.
Yeah. Or accelerated polar wander.
Yes, and its corollary, accelerated polar wander.
Yeah. Can you imagine the perfect that would be created? Sea level rise, isostatic rebound, and a shifting of the pole, an actual geographical shift of the pole. I mean, that's the ultimate apocalyptic scenario. And oddly, that is kind of what's remembered in many of the world traditions.
And we still don't really have an explanation for the core of the ice sheet being Hudson Bay, while large areas of the Arctic Ocean were ice-free.
Yeah.
And you had the Arctic coastline of Siberia densely inhabited by Pleistocene megafauna.
Yeah. The world was very different.
Better, Steve.
And nice. I've certainly reopened my mind to the whole issue of pole shift. I'm not excluding that at all. I think we have to remain open to these cataclysmic possibilities to explain the evidence.
We thank you all for being here, and I know everyone here much appreciates this kind of a chat. So thank you.
Great. I was going to say, if you could go ahead and do a little research, see if you can find out if anybody's working on a time machine. That could solve a lot of problems here. Answer a lot of questions.
Go ahead with the next question.
Hey, let's get Charlie Kirk on it, okay? He was a time traveler. Maybe we can, access one of his consciousnesses before the event. Yeah, we'll try. I just realized it's 11:40, and we're at about. We can go another 5 minutes or so. Yeah, another 5 minutes, and then I've got to wrap it up and then raid out to other people's.
Thank you for being here in spirit. You're missed. A lot of us have been following your works and also the research going on into the possibility of a 90-degree physical pole shift of the Earth. You mentioned megafauna. There are stories about woolly mammoths with fresh flowers, unchewed, still in their mouths. You mentioned Charles Hapgood. I know a lot of people think that his work was compromised, that at some point his manuscript may have been altered to protect certain interests. There was a book called World in Peril about a military exploration of the Arctic, which included some declassified information. Given the rise in thought that we are actually in another antediluvian time, that the Earth may be due for a cyclical 12,000-year 90-degree pole shift. And all of your theories about melting and creation of glaciers seem to fit neatly within the theory. Any thoughts about the idea that we're actually rapidly approaching another pole shift, which may be linked to a galactic current sheet, and you were mentioning the effect of the sun on our entire system?
There's a curious thing in the ancient world tradition, speak of the former Katamini, the destruction of civilization. And oddly, they all say that it was something to do with the behavior that the universe became angry, that the universe was disturbed, or in the Sumerian tradition, that God Enlil was disturbed by the noise humanity was making. There's lots of metaphors and ways that this is put. When I look at the ancient traditions and I look at our civilization today, I think we take all the boxes for the next lost civilization, and it's time to take care of our fellow human beings if we want to have any kind of future as a species. I do think we live at an absolutely crucial time in the story of the Earth.
Someone needs to take care of that echo. My God.
Thank you very much.
Randall, do you have something? Sorry.
Yeah, I will say that, after
Rest well, Slidey Pie.
starting with Velikovsky in the early 70s and moving on to Hapgood and actually several others, I kind of started coming to think that it was very difficult to come up with a scenario that would cause the planet to shift 90 degrees on its axis, because then we have to start breaking things down. Hapgood's model was just a crust. Velikovsky's model, I believe, was the entire planetary mass. Well, either case, it requires a tremendous amount of mechanical energy to cause that as a consequence.
Yeah.
And
all the robots on Earth turned their exhaust into the sky and shifted the Earth, just like they did in Futurama. Okay? Okay. Dang, you were going to order some more biltong and completely forgot. Guys, we're going to go ahead and stop this. If you have not gone to www.biltongusa.com using promo code DOZER for 10% off of your order of that fantastic meat, what are you waiting for? Okay? You need it. It's got protein, creatine, iron, zinc, magnesium, potassium, B vitamins, all kinds of nutrients, guys. All kinds of nutrients in this biltong. It doesn't have any added sugar, no gluten, no soy. You don't want that in your meat. You're not going to get it from Anton. No, Anton wouldn't do that to you. He's going to treat you right. He's going to get you that good meat, that thick, juicy meat. What is biltong? It's what beef jerky wishes it could be, okay, guys? It's delightful. You can eat it cold. You can eat it warm. You can eat it room temperature. You can eat it heated up on a leftover piece of cheese pizza. Sets it off, guys. Sets it off. You can eat it in your mac and cheese. Quite delicious. Quite delicious. You can also, put it in an omelet. It's worth buying. And cool thing about BiltongUSA.com, guys, there are other things there. There's tea. Rooibos tea. There are imported goods. Snacks, sodas, candies, stuff like that. That's right. Meat too. Meat too. All right? You gotta open your mouth and let the meat slide down your throat hole. That is a little Nicky quote. Enjoy it. But it is good. And Anton, he's a South African immigrant that came to this country with a very, very simple dream of spreading his meat across the land. You can be one of the killdozers that helps him achieve that goal by going to www.biltongusa.com and using promo code DOZER for 10% off that amazing meat. It's good times. Good times. That's right. Join the movement. The meat movement. Very nice. Definitely. Get over there, Neuro. Get you some meat. And the link to that is in the description, guys, if you want to check it out. But yeah. Meat times. We are at an hour and 15 in this. Look at that. Mod King with the link. Get after it. Those 8-ounce bags do make excellent gifts. I gifted a bag to the electric company people that came out and fixed the electric. Oh my goodness gracious. Heloise with a $10 donation in Venmo. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. Heck, that puts us $10 away from Fancy Hat Goal on a Monday night. Thank you very much. You are absolutely freaking amazing. If it was in Rumble, it would be turning the chat a lovely, lovely shade of gold, and I do love me some gold.
I love gold.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Crazy Duck Lady. I appreciate the heck out of that. I don't deserve it, but I appreciate it. Oh, man. Let me check on X really quick and make sure nothing dramatic has occurred in the time that we've been talking. Because sometimes stuff happens. Oh, no. Oh, that's not new. I hate it when people say breaking, but it's not breaking. Stop lying. Stop lying. Oh, Neurodivergent one with a $1 Rumble rant. Thanks, Bill. Turning the chat a lovely, lovely shade of blue. And if the chat goes blue, what must we do? Guys, we must play the blue sound. Oh my. Got excited there for a second, y'all. Got excited. Good times, good times. No homo, but I like meaty gifts. You guys heard it here. Tantalum likes the meat in his mouth. Moist meat in his mouth. Juicy meat in his mouth. Slap of that peach. Don't think anything crazy's been going on here. Nope, I think we're good. I think we are good. Wait a second. Aw. Oh no. Tantalum Other Blues song. Thank you for that $1 Rumble rant. Absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Bill needs to shave his head again. Too many grays coming in. Oh, I've been getting grays since I was 13. This has been a progress, okay? There are quite a few grays coming in. Thank you for that $1 Other Blue song. Other Blue song? You want the bagpipe lady? Tantalum, have you seen one of the other blue songs I have? Oh, if you didn't know. Piper Alley. God, I love her energy. So great. So great. So good. She wears blue very nicely. I concur. I concur. All right, guys. We're going to find somebody to raid. Oh, damn. Trump invited Putin to join the Board of Peace. That's nice. Alrighty. So, with that being said, guys, we've talked about some things today. Pretty much just a hangout stream for the most part. And then we were talking about the watching and reacting to the discussion about new evidence for Atlantis. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. She is very... What is up, Paul Douglas? First time I've seen you in the chat. Hello. If you're new, hi there. Hope you're enjoying yourself. If you haven't followed this channel yet, smash the follow button. Let me check on the reposts and the comments, because I do like to shout you guys out as you do that here on the Rumbles. And let's check it real quick. Oh, just got the follow, Paul Douglas 73. You snuck in here right before we sent you out. And look at that. Look at that. You were the 5th one, I think. Paul Douglas getting some of that Rumble rash by Yankee Free. Love it. Yankee Free showered the chat with his love earlier, guys. Absolutely fan-freaking-tastic. Well, Paul Douglas, if you didn't know, hi there. I'm Bill Dozer. I stream Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, we talk about 3 to 4 news topics with palate cleansers sprinkled about. Saturday streams, it's a hangout stream, a decompressed stream, a chill stream. For all you amazing killdozers here in the Dozer Den. We might have one topic, but for the most part, we take music video requests for the Dozer Den DJ Hour, where you can rock out with your cock out, jam out with your clam out. Those are the only 2 options. If you're intersex, I ask that you please pick a fucking lane. Okay? Just pick one. There's 2. Just pick one. Okay? It's all right. Go away. There we go. But I am glad you have stumbled your way in here. Paul Douglas. Thanks for saying hi in the chat. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. All right, guys. We are going to find somebody to raid here on Rumble. Who should we raid? Who should we raid? Do we want to raid Cecil? I don't think Cecil raids out, though. Let's see. I like to try to raid people who are going to raid out. That's one of the things I like to do. Let's raid Schma! I haven't seen Schma in a while. Let's raid Schma. She is the friendly demon kitty. Let's see, Avatar. Only VTuber that I watch, because she's actually entertaining and does cool gaming content, and she has the ducks, guys. My duck, the Dozer duck, is a chaos duck. It's got a little star on its chest. It shoots out a little mini duck, and then that duck explodes, and then it makes all the other ducks fly away. Okay? It's Dozer duck. That's what I like to call it. Oh god, Schma's avatar has a collar on today. Schma. You have to nag her to raid her out, though. But, oh, she might if you ask her. I will pop in the chat and see if she will. Yes. hopefully she returns the favor and raids out. She's been going for 2.5 hours. She usually goes a good long while. So, no schma, thank you. CW doesn't like schma. Oh, let's see here. All good. There are plenty of other people on right now. So, but first we played the Dozer Den theme song before I send you guys out. And I did have a stream earlier today, guys. I think even if you didn't get to catch the live, I think it is absolutely worth watching on the replay. We did a lot of Bible stuff. Did a lot of scripture. I literally have my Bible here. I have it by my side, my bedside, and this is actually the Bible I got for confirmation. So, and we read through. We first of all we kind of first. I felt like, even with all the Rumble stuff that was going on today, I felt called to get on stream and do a little Bible talk. So that's what we did. Talked a little bit about righteous anger in response to the whole Don Lemon and the commies infiltrating the church. There's a time for it. There's a time. And then we talked about the story of Jacob and Esau and the wrestling with an angel / God / pre-incarnate Christ, which I think if you say pre-incarnate Christ and God, you're pretty much saying the same thing. So I think you're safe saying either one of those. And Jacob himself says, I faced God and was spared. And then his name was changed to Israel. So really cool discussion. I was just literally just reading from the Bible for the last 45 minutes or so and talking about it, reading through a couple articles from the theologians talking about the 3 different theories kind of on what is meant there. But yeah, really, it was a really fun stream. I don't usually get to do midday streams like that. I've did one on Saturday. Might be doing more of those on Saturdays. So we'll see. But I did enjoy that. And anyways, I will be back on Tuesday, tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, as long as nothing crazy happens. But I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you for the monetary support. Thank you for the support in general, guys. Even if you're not able to donate monetarily, sharing the stream out, reposting, commenting, all those things do help this channel grow. Spreading the word in the chat if you must. If you want, you don't have to. But we must welcome more Killdozers here into the Dozer Den. Let us go ahead and play the Dozer Den theme song. I do a little bit of a choreography to it, guys, because I feel like it. And then we will raid you guys out to the only VTuber that I've watched, because I think she's entertaining. Let's rock. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Dozer Den. I'll see y'all tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central. Y'all have a good one.